Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto, Hashirama's son, the new god of ninja world. Chapter 21. I know, ha, and I instantly appeared on the Rui Jingu bang, and then instantly stretched infinitely. Boom boom boom, bang, roar, instantly, the Rui Jingu bang directly hit the belly of the Nine Tails, and directly pushed him all the way out of the village. Finally pushed him out, the Nine Tails, actually caused such a huge loss to the village. Sarutobi Sasuke stared fiercely at the huge Nine Tails in front of him. They had just joined Konoha not long ago, just to be able to get peace, but now the Nine Tails destroyed so many buildings and killed so many villagers. Nine-tailed fox, what is it? What is this? Why is it so huge? As a Hokage, how can I let you be so presumptuous? You deserve to die for destroying my home and village. After seeing the Kurama, Uchiha Madara frowned, looking at the countless destroyed houses and dead and injured villagers, and was furious. He had never seen the Nine Tails. In ancient legends, even the Six-Path Sage had only heard of it, let alone seen it. If Uchiha Madara had not awakened his Mangekyo, he would have seen the Nine Tails. After all, without the Mangekyo Sharingan and wood release, it was impossible to control the nine-tailed beasts, let alone seal them. Only the Uzumaki clan had the power to seal the tailed beasts, but the Uzumaki clan could not let the tailed beasts wait quietly for them to seal them. Since the Nine Tails were not evil, they liked freedom and did not need to eat people. So they all lived in the mountains and forests, and their lives were carefree. Because the nine-tailed beasts had different personalities, they were all scattered in different places, and few people could see them. Of course, that was because everyone who had seen them was dead. In this era, except for Hashirama Senju and Uchiha Madara, few people could beat the tailed beasts. Not to mention the Nine Tails, the strongest tailed beast. Why he suddenly appeared in Konoha village now, no one knows. HMPH, there is no way. I hope the Nine Tails can be more powerful and kill Uchiha Madara or that Uchiha Izuna, even if he is blinded directly. In this way, I can get a pair of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and then I can use their eyes to become the Samsara Eye. This monkey from the Sarutobi family is quite interesting, At this time, a black figure suddenly appeared above the head of the Nine Tails. This person was none other than Black Zetsu. He looked at Konoha in front of him and snorted coldly at the golden hoop in Sarutobi Sasuke's hand. Since the Uchiha and Senju clans signed an agreement to establish Konoha, it was difficult for him to come in and cause trouble. After all, he could not appear in front of Madara, otherwise he could not explain clearly, and everything could only give Uchiha Madara a hint. But Uchiha Madara is not blind now, so he cannot awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and it is even more difficult to awaken the Samsara Eye. Chirp chirp chirp. Instantly, the Nine Tails, who was pushed out of Konoha, opened his mouth wide, and a huge black ball suddenly appeared in front of him. He swallowed it in one gulp, and then shot it directly towards Konoha. Humph, you dare to act wild in my Konoha. Beast, who gave you the courage? As soon as the voice fell, a domineering man in a Hokage uniform fell from the sky, saw the tailed beast ball shot by the Nine Tails, and snorted coldly. Susanoo. With Uchiha Madara's roar, a blue giant dozens of feet high appeared at the entrance of Konoha village in an instant, and instantly drew out the sword at his waist and chopped it directly on the tailed beast ball. Boom boom boom. Uchiha Madara saw the power of the sword, and directly chopped the Nine Tails tailed beast ball with one knife. Finally it's out. Haha, use it, use it. The more times you use your Sharingan, the faster you will go blind, ha 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 ha. After hearing Uchiha Madara's voice, Black Zetsu raised his lips slightly, and saw the Susanoo in front of him, feeling very proud. Using Susanoo consumes a lot of pupil power, and it will accelerate the blindness of the Mangekyo Sharingan. He wants to make one of them die or go blind, so that he can get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. No, straight, how is it possible? When did Uchiha Madara get the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? What is going on? Suddenly, Black Zetsu looked up and found that Uchiha Madara, who was standing in the forehead of Susanoo, actually had the straight Mangekyo Sharingan. The whole person Washi was stunned, as if all he had done was in vain. He has awakened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I wasted so much time looking for the Nine Tails. But it's good this way. It saves me a lot of time, he. Then there's no point for me to stay here. You guys can have fun. Uchiha Madara, I'm looking forward to meeting you next time. Don't let me down. Ha ha ha. Black Zetsu originally wanted Uchiha Madara to awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Now that he has awakened himself, it couldn't be better. He only needs to make Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama turn against each other, so that he can tear off Senju Hashirama's cells, and then he can cultivate a new Samsara Eye. By then, his mother can be resurrected. Seeing that Uchiha Madara actually awakened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he left with satisfaction. No one noticed that there was an unknown creature on the nine tails. Bang bang bang. The nine tails tailed beast ball was instantly slapped away by Uchiha Madara, and then suddenly exploded dozens of miles away. The explosion instantly made all the Konoha people feel like the earth was shaking. The first Hokage is here. The first Hokage is here. The first Hokage is so powerful that he was slapped away by such an attack. That's right, don't you see who it is? That's our clan leader, our first Hokage. The first Hokage's Susanoo aura is so powerful that I feel it's a bit difficult to breathe in front of him. This is the Uchiha clan's ultimate eye technique, Susanoo. This is a power comparable to that of a god, and only the first deputy Hokage can fight against it. Because of the appearance of Uchiha Madara, the ninjas of Konoha village, who were still fighting hard, showed their happy faces one by one. Looking at the huge blue giant in front of them, they felt very relieved. Uchiha Madara is now the backbone of the entire Konoha. His appearance makes everyone feel safe. Who gave you the courage to destroy my village? Die. The Sharingan in Uchiha Madara's eyes spun wildly, and he swung the samurai sword of Susanoo and slashed directly at the nine tails. Roar. In an instant, the nine tails was slashed by Uchiha Madara's sword, and one of its tails was cut off in an instant. It roared in pain, and a trace of anger flashed in its eyes. Someone invaded Konoha. In the Konoha hospital, Hashirama Senju also felt a powerful force when the nine tails appeared. He instantly pulled out all the needles in his body and disappeared in an instant. Nine-tailed fox. What the hell is that? Dare to destroy my village. You're courting death. Hashirama Senju arrived at the entrance of the village and saw the huge nine-tailed fox and Uchiha Madara's Susanoo in front of him. He frowned, a hint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes, and he instantly used the magic. A circle appeared on Hashirama Senju's forehead, with a black dot in the center, and then a pair of panda eyes appeared. There was an arc of black lines under each eye extending to the ears, and his brows were frowned. Magic technique, Mayayanman. Instantly, Hashirama Senju summoned dozens of wooden stakes in the shape of the Chinese character, Kai, opening which fell from the sky and fell rapidly towards the nine-tailed fox. Bang bang bang. Roar. Human, let me go, roar. Soon, the nine-tailed fox's tail and limbs were all suppressed by the huge wooden stakes, and it instantly lost its ability to resist, and roared at Hashirama Senju and Uchiha Madara. The first deputy Hokage has also come out. He is so powerful. He suppressed the nine tails in an instant. He couldn't move. The two first-generation Hokage are extremely powerful. No wonder they are evenly matched. It's easy to deal with this powerful nine tails. Yes, when will I be as powerful as the first-generation adults? It's simply too powerful. Because the nine tails was instantly controlled by Senju Hashirama, everyone felt shocked. Endless admiration flashed in their eyes. Looking at Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, they were very yearning in their hearts. Hashirama, what do you think about this nine tails? Uchiha Madara saw that the nine tails was controlled, and ignored his shouting. He turned his head and looked at Senju Hashirama and asked. Senju Hashirama heard Uchiha Madara's question and was a little difficult to decide for a while. They really had never encountered such a thing. The power of this nine-tailed beast is too great. If it is not properly managed, this situation may happen again. But my Mingxian sect can only suppress him, not can control him. Quote. Then Senju Hashirama looked up at Uchiha Madara and said that such a powerful tailed beast would require a lot of chakra even if he controlled it. Then seal him. I wonder if the people of the Uzumaki clan can seal him. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly. He could also control such a nine tails with the Sharingan, but this was not a long-term solution. He could only seal him temporarily. Well, this is a good idea. He can't let him cause trouble to the world again. Wait for me. Hearing Uchiha Madara's suggestion, Senju Hashirama nodded slightly. He could only do this. Seal the Nine Tails to prevent them from causing trouble to the world in the future. Then Senju Hashirama disappeared directly on the spot and returned home. Mito, follow me. Senju Hashirama returned home and didn't say anything. He directly pulled Uzumaki Mito and disappeared on the spot. Hashirama, what are you doing? Uzumaki Mito was inexplicably pulled away by Senju Hashirama, and asked with some confusion. Although she also saw the Nine Tails appear, she did not run away, but was now pulled away by Senju Hashirama. Mito, we have to seal him up. If we can't seal him, then there is a high possibility that he will come out to cause trouble to the world again. In order to prevent such a thing from happening again, I think he must be sealed up. See if he can be sealed. Senju Hashirama brought Uzumaki Mito to the entrance of the village, pointed at the Nine Tails in front of him and said in a deep voice. Seal, his chakra is too huge. If I want to seal him completely, I must seal him in my own body. But, Uzumaki Mito turned her head and looked at the Nine Tails in front of her, frowning. The Nine Tails can be sealed, but he must be sealed in her body to prevent him from running out. But what? Hashirama Senju heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that Uzumaki Mito could seal the Nine Tails. He could only use wood release to control the Nine Tails for a short time, but there was no sealing technique that could completely seal him. But this is not a long-term solution. If he is sealed in my body, he will be released if I die in the future. It must be passed down from generation to generation. When I can't hold on, I will replace someone to seal it, and then replace someone else, and repeat this process. In this case, Uzumaki Mito knew that there was no problem with sealing the Nine Tails, but what if he died of old age in the future? Whose body would he seal it in? Should the people of the Uzumaki clan always become the container for sealing the Nine Tails? He was still a little embarrassed. Ding, it is detected that the Nine Tails is about to be sealed, and the God's Chosen system is activated. Option 1. Let Uzumaki Mito become the first generation of Jinchuriki without any interference. Reward for completing the task, Ichiraku Ramen secret recipe. Option 2. Sign the Nine Tails summoning technique, make him your summoning beast, and become good friends with the Nine Tails to solve the problem of Senju Hashirama. Reward for completing the task, Tailed Beast Affinity plus 10. Option 3. The host himself becomes the first generation Jinchuriki and becomes a hero of Konoha village. Reward for completing the task, Otsutsuki clan's ability to transform into pills. Otsutsuki clan's ability to transform into pills can absorb any chakra and transform it into red ammunition, which can increase the lifespan of the human body and enhance strength. The specific effect depends on the amount of chakra absorbed. Suddenly, Senju Fujima, who had just returned to the village and was rushing towards the village entrance, had a screen option in front of him. Ichiraku Ramen secret recipe. I don't sell noodles. Obviously, this had no effect on Senju Fujima at all, and he ignored it instantly. What the hell is the affinity of the tailed beasts plus 10? Do you want me to hold hands with the tailed beasts and make friends and play games together? Or should I pick up soap with them? PFF'd. Let's choose option 3. The power of the Nine Tails is not to be underestimated. And there are various modes, all of which are very cool, such as the Kurama mode, which is very cool. I still like it, hehe. The most important thing is the ability to transform pills. It can actually increase a person's lifespan. Isn't that immortality? But I am already an immortal body, so it doesn't have much effect. But it's not bad to be able to improve my strength, hehe. Finally, Senju Fujima made up his mind, disappeared from the spot in an instant, and appeared directly at the entrance of the village. Mom, let me seal it. At this time, Senju Fujima walked in front of the three people, looked at the Nine Tails in front of him, raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and said with a smile. What? Nonsense. After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Uzumaki Mito turned around instantly and looked at him as if he was going to slap him in the face. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara looked at each other. This kid is really good at everything. No matter what he does, he always rushes forward. He is simply a hard worker. Hashirama, I think it's good. Fujirama has a huge amount of chakra in his body. Maybe he can become friends with the Nine Tails. Although the Nine Tails has evil chakra, he doesn't have much malice. He seems to be summoned by spirits. It seems that someone wants to deal with our Konoha. Uchiha Madara looked at the 9 tails in front of him. The 9 tails did not appear by itself, but appeared in the middle of the village inexplicably, which means that he was summoned by someone. If Senju Fujirama can seal the 9 tails and become friends with him, it will be a once and for all thing. Mito, let Fujima try. As the son of the Hokage, Fujima has the obligation to protect our own village. It is imperative to become the 9 tails Jinchuriki. Whether you or Fujima, the ending is the same. Fujima is strong. Even if there are problems, he can suppress the 9 tails with his own strength. Senju Hashirama pondered for a moment. Which one of his wife and children should he choose to become the 9 tails Jinchuriki? He knew this very well. It didn't matter who they were. In front of the village, Senju Hashirama first considered the village, not human lives. Even his own relatives were not as important as the village. As long as anyone wanted to destroy Konoha village, he would make him pay a painful price. It was inevitable to pay for the village. Uzumaki Mito and Senju Fujima were both his most beloved people, but for the village, he could only sacrifice them as sealing containers. No need. Since you have all decided, seal them in my body. Quote. Uzumaki Mito knew that sealing the 9 tails was inevitable, and she didn't want her son to bear all this. When she heard that they wanted to make Senju Fujima the Jinchuriki, she immediately stood up and decided to become the first generation of the 9 tails Jinchuriki. Mom, I'm already an adult, and I have to protect the village, too. You gave birth to me, and it's been very hard for me to raise me. I can't grow up anymore, so let me share some of the burden for you. I've decided to become the first generation of the 9 tails Jinchuriki. Dad, let me do it. I will definitely rely on my own abilities to prevent him from hurting people again. Senju Fujima's eyes flashed with determination, and he looked at Senju Hashirama and Uzumaki Mito and said. Quote, it was the first time that Uzumaki Mito saw Senju Fujima's eyes like this. Hearing what his son said, it would be a lie to say that he was not moved. A trace of love and happiness flashed in his eyes. He looked at Senju Hashirama, and a trace of relief and pride flashed in his eyes. Well, you are worthy of being my son of Senju Hashirama. Then I will release the Myayanman next, and you will immediately seal him into your body. Senju Hashirama looked at Senju Fujima, stretched out his hand and patted his shoulder and said. Yeah, Senju Fujima looked at Senju Hashirama, nodded slightly, and then instantly appeared in front of the 9 tails. Untie. Then, Senju Hashirama waved his right hand and directly loosened the 9 tails restraints. Human, die. Quote, due to the contact of the Myayanman, the 9 tails was able to move freely and use chakra in an instant. Black chakra suddenly appeared in its mouth, and it was ready to release the tailed beast ball. HMPH. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan began to rotate in an instant. The 9 tails instantly felt that his head was controlled by an illusion, and the pupils in his eyes also turned into Mangekyo Sharingan. The whole body stood there stupidly, and there was no more riot. Fujima, start the seal. Uchiha Madara looked at Senju Fujima and said lightly. Well, I know. Secret technique Vajra seal. In an instant, the chakra in Senju Fujima's body turned into 5 chakra chains, which directly tied up the 9 tails, and then kept dragging it into his body. Sealing technique Tiangong Bagua seal. Quote, then Senju Fujima quickly formed a seal, and a huge Bagua formation appeared under his and Kyuubi's feet, wrapping both of them. Seal it for me. Ha! I only heard Senju Fujima's roar, and a huge pulling force directly acted on the chakra chain, and the chakra chain contracted faster and faster. Then the Bagua formation under Senju Fujima and Kyuubi's feet began to rotate rapidly, and a smaller Bagua formation appeared on it, with a greater suction force, sucking Kyuubi's body out of shape. After the Kyuubi was completely sucked into the Bagua formation, the small Bagua formation flew directly towards Senju Fujima and drilled into his body. Instantly, a sealing technique appeared on Senju Fujima's stomach, and the seal was completed. One more time. Sealing technique. 4 symbols seal. Quote, in order to perfectly absorb the power of the 9-tailed fox, Senju Fujima once again added a 4-symbol seal to the seal, stretched out his right hand into a claw, and directly pressed it against his stomach, turning it clockwise about 90 degrees, completely consolidating the seal. Hoo-hoo. Just like that, the nine-tailed fox's seal ended, and a gust of evil wind blew up on the originally destroyed field, blowing up huge smoke, and the field was in a mess, but this farce is finally over. The Nine Tails was sealed. The Nine Tails was sealed by Master Fujima, so powerful. Long live Master Fujima, long live Master Fujima. I didn't expect Master Fujima to be so powerful. He was able to seal the Nine Tails. Isn't he too powerful? Of course, Master Fujima is the young patriarch of the Senju clan, and the son of Master Hokage. I heard that he can use wood release. Really, I haven't seen Master Fujima use wood release. He is so powerful, he is worthy of being the young patriarch of the Senju clan. Quote. That's right, our young clan leader is invincible, even compared to Lord Hokage. I saw the last battle, although the young clan leader lost, but the young clan leader is old after all. What? Lord Fujima also fought against Lord Hokage. Because the Nine Tails was sealed, countless people in Konoha village cheered. They saw the powerful strength of Senju Fujima, and they all showed joy on their faces for the several guardian gods in their village. Ding, I feel that the host has chosen successfully and completed the task. I will be rewarded with the ability of the Otsutsuki clan to transform pills. Please keep up the good work. Feeling the Otsutsuki clan's transformation pill technique in his mind, Senju Fujima's mouth slightly raised. He was quite satisfied with the selection system this time. He was surprised that it didn't pit him. Okay, everyone leave. Help the villagers rebuild their homes so that everyone can get out of the shelter. Uchiha Madara saw that the matter was over, turned around and looked at all the ninjas behind him and said, Yes, Lord Hokage. Everyone bowed respectfully to the few people, and then turned around and walked into the village. Brother, big brother. At this time, Senju Tobirama and Uchiha Izuna also came over. When they saw Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara take action, they did not take action. If Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama couldn't deal with it, then there would be no point for the two of them to take action. You're here, it's okay. You two can lead the villagers to repair the village together. It's really troublesome. I don't know who summoned the Nine Tails. Senju Hashirama saw Senju Tobirama and the others coming over, shook his head and said, he was very confused about the person who summoned the Nine Tails. Dad, I think it's probably that black Zetsu. At this time, Senju Fujima walked forward and looked at everyone and said that except for black Zetsu, he couldn't think of anyone who could subdue the Nine Tails. As the most powerful tailed beast, even a half-powerful Nine Tails can beat the Eight Tails, let alone the current complete Nine Tails. In this era, except for Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, no one can subdue the Nine Tails. It is an invincible existence. Although Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara are called gods, they are not immortal. On the contrary, the Nine Tails is more like a godlike existence and will never die. Even if he died, he could be resurrected. Even if he became the 10 Tails, it was just a combination of their original strengths, and it was not a true death. He could be resurrected if he split up again. Black Zetsu. Is that the man? Uchiha Madara frowned. When he thought of this man, he didn't know why, and there was a fire in his heart. He lowered his head and said in a deep voice, It seems that what is written in the book is correct. Someone is indeed trying to deal with you two brothers. And his strength is really strong. If it weren't for our special abilities, the Nine Tails would not be able to subdue him at all. His strength is unfathomable, and we have to guard against him. The same is true for Hashirama Senju. When he thought of this black Zetsu and saw his ability, he could actually control the Nine Tails. This is simply incredible to them. The Nine Tails is not a small character. It is estimated that there are few people in the entire ninja world who are the opponents of the Nine Tails. It seems that we have to speed up the upgrade of the Samsara Eye. This person is too dangerous. This time, the Nine Tails has caused our village to suffer heavy losses. If it comes a few more times, how can our village survive? HMPH, this black Zetsu, I must find him out. I want him to experience the taste of life worse than death. Uchiha Madara was extremely angry. He wanted to eliminate all those who wanted to threaten the safety of his brother and the village, and make them doomed. Well, let's go. Research really needs to be accelerated. Invisible enemies are the most terrifying. It is very likely that he is next to us, but we can't find him now. Senju Hashirama agreed with him, nodded slightly, and then looked around. He felt that Black Zetsu might be near him. Such a person could not be found, invisible or intangible, and it was really impossible to prevent. Hehe. Just speed up. Let's go back first. Senju Fujima smiled, then took the lead and left, walking towards the village. Black Zetsu is not that easy to deal with. If he doesn't show up, it's hard to find him, so there's no need to look for him deliberately. It's really meaningless. When it's time to show up, he will show up naturally. Senju Fujima is not worried about this. This kid is not worried at all. Haha. Uchiha Izuna looked at Senju Fujima like this and smiled slightly. Haha, it's us old guys who think too much. When the enemy comes, the general will stop it. When the water comes, the earth will cover it. Let's go. Senju Hashirama looked at everyone and smiled slightly, then raised his foot and left. Haha. Then everyone left and walked towards the village. Soon, the villagers and ninjas of Konoha joined the life of rebuilding the village. And combined with the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan, they opened the barrier of Konoha, covering the entire Konoha. This is the result of their research during this period. They formed a barrier team, which is responsible for observing and maintaining the barrier of the village. This barrier is good. People with strength lower than that of a Jonin will be discovered immediately when they enter Konoha. If they are strong people at the level of Cage, they can only enter by force, and they can also find the enemy at that time. It is quite practical, but it can only block the attacks of ordinary Cage-level people. This point still needs to be studied more. Senju Hashirama saw the barrier in front of him, and his mouth corners slightly raised. He personally experimented with it. This barrier is indeed good, but it still needs to be studied further. There is no best, only better. Let's go see the Nine Tails. Without his cooperation, it is still a bit difficult to use all his chakra, hehe. After returning to the room, Senju Fujima raised his mouth corners slightly and muttered to himself. Ding dong, the host's intention is detected, and the God's chosen system is activated. Option 1. Beat up the Nine Tails, tame it, and make it a pet you raise. Reward for completing the task, -100 favorability of the tailed beast. Option 2. Release the Nine Tails, and tell him to be careful of humans, and let him hide. The host has an immortal body, and the tailed beast will not die when it leaves, so you can rest assured. Reward for completing the task, the favor of the Nine Tails, and an additional reward of special ninjutsu, the reverse harem technique. Option 3. Become the Nine Tails friend, and the two become brothers in life and death. Reward for completing the task, become a perfect Jinchuriki, and an additional special reward. And Senju Fujima had just said that he wanted to see the Nine Tails, but the God's chosen system was activated again. Beat up the Nine Tails, and the favorability of the tailed beast is -100. It's useless. When he saw the first option, Senju Fujima gave up on it directly. It was not applicable at all, and there was no benefit for him. Puff. Reverse harem technique. Is this Naruto's upgraded version, the super SSS level ninjutsu that stunned Kagaya Otsutsuki? Suddenly, a disgusting picture appeared in Senju Fujima's mind, and he almost spit out blood. Forget it, choose 3. I don't know what the special reward is, but I'm really looking forward to it. Try it, and the bicycle will become a motorcycle. If option 3 doesn't have anything good, this wave will be a big loss. After all, as long as you become friends with the Nine Tails, you will be a perfect Jinchuriki. You can only look forward to the so-called special reward. Since he has made a choice in his heart, Senju Fujima's consciousness directly escaped into his own seal. Tick, tick, Senju Fujima appeared directly in front of the Nine Tails, similar to a sewer, with a lot of water, and no one knows why such a sealed space was formed. Yes, come in, come in. Kyuubi saw Senju Fujima appear, a glimmer of brightness flashed in his eyes, and he kept shouting in his heart. Kyuubi. Senju Fujima came to the front of the Nine-Tailed, raised his head and looked at the huge Nine-Tailed in front of him, and shouted with a smile. Why do you know my name? Who are you? Kyuubi heard Senju Fujima actually called him by his nickname, which was the name given to him by the Six Paths Sage. Except for the other tailed beasts, no one knew his name. And how did Senju Fujima know it? A trace of doubt flashed in the eyes of the Nine-Tailed, but more of it was shock. Don't be excited, I just want to chat with you, there is no other meaning. Seeing the nine-tailed like this, Senju Fujima raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Humph, humans are always evil. I feel that there is an evil power in you. It's really disgusting. Kyuubi felt the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan in Senju Fujima's body, and felt the disgusting breath, and curled his lips. Because of what Senju Fujima said, he was somewhat touched. The Six-Path Sage was like their father. He hadn't heard this name for a long time, and a hint of gloom flashed in his eyes. Hehe, don't be like this. I just want to make friends with you. There is no other meaning. Senju Fujima looked at the eyes of the nine-tailed, seemed to feel that he was missing something, and smiled and said, Humph, friend, is this how you treat your friends? If you want me to be your friend, then let me out first. Kyuubi heard what Senju Fujima said, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, and he snorted coldly. Let you go. It's not impossible, but you are not my friend. I definitely can't let you go out. After all, you have killed so many villagers. If I let you go, I will be hunted down by others. After hearing what Juwei said, Senju Fujima smiled slightly, dodged in an instant, and sat directly on his head. Get down from here, is this where you sit? Juwei saw Senju Fujima sitting on his head, and was furious. He instantly waved his right claw and grabbed him directly. Hehe, don't be so angry. Senju Fujima didn't move, but a thick wooden vine suddenly appeared in front of them, grabbing Juwei's hand directly, preventing him from moving forward. Wood release. Juwei saw that Senju Fujima could actually use wood release, frowned, and didn't know what he was thinking. Why does this person have two bloodlines? One is the bloodline of Asura, and the other is the bloodline of Indra. It's strange that the two bloodlines are perfectly fused together. Quote, Nine-Tails was naturally familiar with the two sons of the Six-Path Sage. At the beginning, he felt that Senju Fujima had the power of the Uchiha clan in his body. Now he used wood release, which was obviously a combination of Ashura and Indra, which shocked him. I want to change this world, so that there will be no war in this world, and people can live in peace with each other and with the tailed beasts. You were separated from the body of the 10 tails by the Six-Path Sage, and each of you tailed beasts is now an independent individual. You have done nothing wrong, but once you are discovered, countless people will come to rule the world in order to obtain your power. You can only fight hard and finally become something that humans are afraid of. I understand that you just want to live a stable life. Senju Fujima sat on the top of the 9 tails, stroking his soft hair, and said slowly. So I want to be friends with you. Only when we become friends, can we rely on my power to make everyone live in peace. I don't like a world full of wars. I just want a peaceful world. So, Kurama, are you willing to be my friend? Senju Fujima looked at the 9 tails with the most sincere eyes he could show, and his mouth-to-mouth tricks gradually started to work, subtly having a kind of magic that led the 9 tails astray. Peace, friends. Humans want to be friends with our tailed beasts. Are you sure you are not fantasizing? When Juwei heard Senju Fujima say this, the whole fox was stunned, looking at him and asked lightly. No, I am working hard to achieve this goal, and the first target is you. I want to be your best friend, because I don't have any friends either. Don't look at me now as the young patriarch of the Senju clan, and I seem to have a noble status in the village, but I really don't have a single friend. Are you willing to be my first good friend? Hehe. Then Senju Fujima appeared directly in front of Juwei, looking at Juwei in front of him with sincere eyes and a sunny smile, and stretched out his right hand. Juwei seemed to be touched in his heart. For thousands of years, countless people have hunted him for powerful strength. Some of them discovered it accidentally, and some were attracted by the books handed down. But without exception, all of these people were killed by the 9 tails. Those who tried to deprive him of his freedom and make him a weapon of war were all killed. This was the first time he had ever heard someone say that he could be friends with the tailed beasts. This was simply ridiculous. I don't need friends. After hearing what Senju Fujima said, the 9 tails pondered for a long time, a trace of struggle flashed in his eyes, and finally he lay lazily on the ground, said lightly, and then closed his eyes. Hehe. Senju Fujima was not in a hurry, he withdrew his hand, and then sat quietly on the 9 tails' head. This time, the 9 tails did not make any movement, as if he had acquiesced. It's not that there is no effect, let's do it step by step. Hehe. Then Senju Fujima lay directly on the top of the Nine-Tails head, looking at this sealed space, muttering to himself. I don't know how long it took, but Senju Fujima actually fell asleep directly on the top of the Nine-Tails head. Asleep. This kid is really careless. Isn't he afraid that I will kill him now? Kyuubi opened his eyes and saw that Senju Fujima had fallen asleep on his head. For some reason, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, thinking in his heart, but he did not do anything cruel. He closed his eyes again, and the two fell asleep together in the sealed space. Oh, when Senju Fujima woke up, it was already night. Seeing that he was still safe and secure, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. I'm leaving first, Kurama. It's getting late. I'll come to play with you tomorrow. Then Senju Fujima stood up, stretched his waist, and said to Juwei. Go away. Kyuubi didn't even raise his eyelids, and said to Senju Fujima lightly. Hee, still so fierce, but I believe that we will be good friends soon. Senju Fujima smiled at Juwei, then left the sealed space directly, and his consciousness returned to his body. Tisk, what an interesting little brat. After Senju Fujima left, Kyuubi slowly opened his eyes, a hint of laughter flashed in his eyes, and shook his head and said. Ninja school, Dad, with my strength, do I need to go to school? Are you kidding me? Tomorrow is the day when Konoha school starts. Konoha school is finally built and has started to recruit students. Now everyone is welcome. Anyone who wants to go to school can go to school. And Senju Fujima is now 10 years old. If he doesn't have the strength, he should indeed go to ninja school, but his current strength is to Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, even Senju Tobirama and Uchiha Izuna can't beat him, right? Now Senju Hashirama actually said that he wanted him to go to school, no wonder he was so surprised. That's right, haha, now our own ninja school has just been established, and there are not many people in the village, so the class is not full. How about you go and draw a number? Senju Hashirama looked at the surprised Senju Fujirama in front of him and smiled slightly. Now is the first year of their Konoha, just established, and the school has just been established. Although many civilians want to go to school, it is difficult to pass the physical fitness. When it comes to screening physical fitness, many civilians do not meet the standard, so it is difficult for civilian ninjas to get ahead. There are ninjas in the family, and their children will more or less use medicinal baths to soak in to enhance their physical fitness, but where can civilians get so much money? Dad, do you mean to use me to fill in the gap? Are you sure I'm the only one missing? After hearing what Hashirama said, Fujima Senju had a bead of sweat dripping from his forehead. This reason was simply amazing. Well, as the young patriarch of the Senju clan and the son of the Hokage, you must set an example. Only in this way can the children of those big families be assured to entrust their children to the school for instruction. Hashirama Senju looked at Fujima Senju and nodded. Oh, so that's how it is. It turns out that the people of those families don't give you face, Dad. After Hashirama Senju said this, Fujima Senju understood that it should be those big families who were unwilling to put their children in the ninja school to study. After all, their big families have their own heritage and their own secretaries. Can the close guidance of the masters in the family be worse than the school? But Hashirama Senju wanted everyone to actively participate, so he set an example for himself. Ding, the host is facing a choice, and the God's Chosen system is activated. Option 1. Refuse to enter the ninja school. At such an old age, it is embarrassing to go to any ninja school, and shout to Senju Hashirama 3 times, I just don't go. Reward for completing the task. Sweep out of the house and sleep on the street for a month. Option 2. Refuse to enter the ninja school because you don't need to study. If Senju Hashirama doesn't agree, Uzumaki Mito will appear immediately. Reward for completing the task. A set of mixed doubles. Option 3. Agree to enter the ninja school. As a good child, unconditionally obey the arrangements of your parents. Reward for completing the task. Empty fart. With the outbreak of the incident that Senju Hashirama wanted him to go to the ninja school, the God's Chosen system was instantly activated, and 3 options appeared in front of him. Puff. System. Are you kidding me? Option 1 and Option 2 are sleeping on the street, and 1 is mixed doubles. The third option is still rewarding empty farts. You are so cruel. Seeing the 3 options in front of him, he almost wanted to spit blood. There is no benefit. It is better not to show up. Isn't it just to let himself go to ninja school? Well, they have inheritance in their families, so they don't want these children to study. So our Senju clan and Uchiha clan must set an example. Everyone must go to ninja school, so that we can better complete registration and assignment tasks in the future. Senju Hashirama nodded slightly. There is no problem with the Senju clan and Uchiha clan. It's just that other families that joined, such as Hyuga, Sarutobi, Inoshika-cho and other large and small families, they all have their own unique secretaries. Almost none of them were willing to let their children go to ninja school, so he discussed with Uchiha Madara to let all the people in their families go to school, so that people from other families could join in. Hehe. Since the system doesn't give me rewards, can't I earn them myself? Dad, thank you for your hard work. Although the system did not give any rewards, it was considered that Hashirama Senju asked Fujima Senju, so he could naturally ask for some benefits. Since the system didn't give it, he was ready to ask for it himself. Dad, I know, I'll go to school, but what benefits do you have for me? Hehe. Fujima Senju stretched out his right hand, looked at Hashirama Senju and said with a smile. Ah, what do you want? Seeing Fujima Senju's actions, Hashirama Senju was stunned and asked. 1,000,000 taels. As a result, Fujima Senju opened his mouth and asked for it. In fact, the money in the Naruto world has never been very stable, and there is no stable price, but now is the early stage of war, and 1,000,000 taels is already very huge. When Naruto and Jiraiya went to find Tsunade, Jiraiya took all the money away, leaving only 300 taels for Naruto, but Naruto bought a lot of food and toys, which means that 300 taels at that time was probably about the same as our 100 yuan compared to the price of goods. And Senju Fujima asked for 1,000,000 taels, which is equivalent to a little kid asking his father for 300,000 or 400,000 yuan. The amount of money is not small. An S-level mission is only more than 1,000,000 taels, and an S-level mission requires at least a jonin to accept. What? 1,000,000 taels? What do you want so much money for, a little kid? No, but you don't need to go to ninja school. Senju Hashirama heard Senju Fujima actually asked him for 1,000,000 taels directly. How could he easily give him such a large sum of money? My monthly pocket money is only 3,000,000 taels, which is not enough for my own gambling. If I give it to you, what can I use to gamble? No, I can't give it to you. You are a child, what money do you need? Then Senju Hashirama muttered in his heart. His monthly pocket money is only 3,000,000 taels. How can he give it away easily? This is 1/3 of his money. If he gives it all away, what can he use to gamble? Dad, although I am only 10 years old, I have to save enough dowry for my future wife, right? You go out to gamble all day long, and lose money every day. If you don't give it to me, I won't go to the ninja school. You can do it yourself. Hehe. Let's go. Senju Fujima knew that his father was in the casino all day long, and was secretly called a fat sheep by the people in the village. Anyway, he always loses every time he gambles, and he doesn't know where his luck comes from. He can do anything, but he ranks last in gambling. You, come back here. Hashirama Senju was exposed by his own son, his face turned red, and he pointed at Fujima Senju and shouted. Hehe. Dad, what's up? Have you changed your mind? Hearing what Hashirama Senju said, Fujima Senju quickly smiled and turned around, looking at his father and asked. No, I told you to get out. Hashirama Senju held his waist bag and shouted at Fujima Senju. Oh, then I'll leave first. Dad, bye. Fujima Senju smiled at Hashirama Senju, saw his money-saving look, waved his hand, and then turned and left. You. Hashirama Senju saw Fujima Senju turn around and walk away again, and a trace of bitterness flashed in his eyes. My money, my money. I can only let you down. It's my fault that I can't take you to the battlefield. Finally, Hashirama Senju lowered his head and took out the scroll in his arms. Most of his money was in the scroll. In order to let Fujima Senju go to school, he also risked everything. He decided to give Fujima Senju 1/3 of his property. Boy, come back to me. Kacha. Then Hashirama Senju looked at Fujima Senju's back and shouted with red ears. When he shouted this sentence, he seemed to feel his heart was broken. Hehe. Dad, have you thought it through? After hearing Hashirama Senju's words again, Fujima Senju instantly appeared in front of him and looked at him with a smile. Here, seeing the smile of his cheap son, Hashirama Senju really wanted to beat him up. Seeing that he was about to lose 1/3 of his money, he was extremely unwilling. Haha, then I'll take it without hesitation. Senju Fujima laughed and stretched out his hand to grab the scroll handed over by Senju Hashirama. Dad, why are you holding it so tightly? This is my money now, let it go, let it go. When he stretched out his hand to take the scroll handed over by Senju Hashirama, Senju Fujima clearly felt a huge force resisting, and hurriedly looked at him and said, not forgetting to slap his hand with his left hand, trying to make him let go. Ah, my money. Senju Hashirama was unwilling, but there was no way. Although he was reluctant, he finally chose to give up his huge wealth in exchange for Senju Fujima to go to the ninja school. In the end, Senju Hashirama let go, looking reluctant, snorting coldly, but his eyes were still staring at the scroll, and his heart was still bleeding. Then I will accept it without hesitation. I will definitely report to school tomorrow, haha. Senju Fujima put away the scroll, laughed, and then left directly. My money, my money. After Senju Fujima left, Senju Hashirama was heartbroken and howled to the sky. Which psychopath is it? Maybe he lost his money. Do you have to be so heartbroken to lose money? Did he lose millions or tens of millions of taels? Tisk. Haha, maybe others just lost a few million taels. Senju Hashirama's voice spread far and was heard by many people, who talked about it. Haha, 1 million taels, enough for me to spend for several years, hehe. In this way, Senju Fujima's option was completed. Not only did he successfully avoid the system's reward, but he also turned the original no reward into a reward of 1 million taels. He was very happy to think that he still had 1 million taels. Ding, I feel the host if you choose successfully and complete the task, you will get the reward, empty fart nothing. Quote. Ding, the host is detected to have cheated and obtained 1 million taels of money. The system now proposes sanctions and confiscates 900,000 taels for recharge and exchange. Ding, confiscation is successful. The remaining 100,000 taels have been stored in the system package. The host can claim it by himself. Recharge 900,000 to exchange for the reward chakra absorption function, which can absorb any attribute chakra including fairy chakra, yin escape, and yang escape chakra at will. Just when Senju Fujima was happy, the system prompt suddenly appeared, and the scroll containing 1 million taels on his body disappeared directly, and was directly embezzled by the system. Puff. System. But change it to chakra absorption for me later, which is barely good, at least it can recover some losses. If you want to spend my money to buy your chakra absorption technique, just say it directly. Quote. When Senju Fujima heard the system prompt, he spat out a mouthful of blood and almost died. He looked up to the sky and howled, but fortunately the system gave him additional rewards later, otherwise he would have lost a lot. In this way, both father and son were heartbroken, so who made the profit? What's wrong with this kid today? He was so startled. System. What is the system? The nine-tailed fox in Senju Fujima's body was a little confused and was awakened by his roar. He was still sleeping and suddenly heard his voice. After opening his eyes and hearing this sentence, he muttered to himself. Fortunately, the nine-tailed fox didn't know what the system was, otherwise it would really reveal the secret. Dear clan leaders, I have given you 3 days to consider. How have you considered it? Tomorrow is the first day of the ninja school, so I hope you can give a clear answer. Quote. The Konoha meeting hall was full of people, all of whom were clan leaders of various clans. Uchiha Madara first raised this topic. They had discussed this issue 3 days ago, but many clan leaders disagreed. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, as the chief and deputy Hokage, sat in the first seat, looking at the clan leaders of various clans below. They were the Hitaki clan, the Hyuga clan, the Sarutobi clan, the Inoshika Cho clan, the Senju clan, Senju Tobirama, the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Izuna, the Shimura clan, Aburame clan, Inuzuka clan, Kurama clan, Uzumaki clan branch, invited by Senju Fujima, not wanting the Uzumaki clan to be completely destroyed, etc. As for other small clans, they obeyed unconditionally and sent their children to study in ninja schools. Only these relatively large clans would have such doubts. After hearing what Uchiha Madara said, the clan leaders of each clan had some doubts, and some were waiting and watching. If someone agreed, they would agree immediately. My Yamanaka clan agrees. My Nara clan agrees. My Akamichi clan agrees. My Senju clan agrees and allows Senju Fujima to enter the ninja school. The Uchiha clan agrees and allows Uchiha Kagami to enter the school. Quote. Then the three major families of Ino, Shika and Cho finally began the first wave of agreement. The secretaries and their families are basically simple and can also learn in the ninja school. Then Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha made a surprising statement, because Uchiha Kagami is currently the strongest of the younger generation of the Uchiha clan. There is no need to say more about Fujima Senju. Except for the two Hokage, no one present is his opponent. Now I am afraid that Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju will have some difficulties in dealing with Fujima Senju. After all, Fujima Senju now has the 9 tails. The chakra of the 9 tails plus the chakra in his body is simply a strong combination. Combined, it is dozens of times more terrifying than Naruto's chakra. The chakra in Naruto's body is already huge enough, but as the son of the god of ninja world and the son of the former first Jinchuriki of the Uzumaki clan, the chakra in his body is undoubtedly even larger. Moreover, the 9 tails in his body is a complete 9 tails, not just half of it in Naruto's body, and he also has Wood Release and Mangekyo Sharingan, which is simply invincible under the two gods. I didn't expect that the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan, in order to allow the children of our families to enter the ninja school, actually let Senju Fujima and Uchiha Kagami enter directly. It seems that it is imperative for the children of our families to go in and study this time. Forget it, it is not advisable to blindly work behind closed doors. Now is not a war period. At most, let them practice hard in the family in their free time. The current head of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Tenshiki, frowned and finally it was finalized, and the Hyuga family was allowed to enter the ninja school. My Hyuga family agrees. Finally, Hyuga Tenshiki also agreed. After all, the two most powerful families had already expressed their opinions. My Sarutobi family agrees, and we will send Sarutobi Hiruzen to the school. Then Sarutobi Sasuke also agreed, and let Sarutobi Hiruzen enter the school. After hearing Sarutobi Sasuke's words, Senju Tobirama was stunned for a moment, and quickly lowered his head without saying much. In the end, one family after another agreed, which was a perfect ending, and all the children of the families were directly allowed to enter the ninja school. Very good, then school will start tomorrow, and I hope to see the children of each family at the opening ceremony. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama smiled at each other, and then stood up and said to everyone. This result made Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama very satisfied, because their previous dreams were being realized step by step, which made them feel somewhat comforted. The next morning, Senju Fujima put his hands in his pockets and whistled as he walked towards the school. Along the way, many parents sent their children to school, each with a happy and cheerful smile on their face. This was indeed the first time that a ninja school appeared in the world. In the past, Pingming had almost no chance to become a ninja, but now that there was a school, it was different. If Pingming Ninja is capable and can lead their small family to become a strong man in Konoha and slowly form a family, it is not a bad idea. This is the purpose of sending their children to the ninja school. Isn't this Lord Fujima? Why is he also coming to the ninja school? Don't you know? The news has spread yesterday. Lord Fujima will enter the ninja school today. What? Why haven't I heard about this? If my girl can be in the same class with Lord Fujima, then something will happen. What are you thinking? Lord Fujima is already engaged to someone from the Uchiha clan. How could he be with your little baby? Don't think about it. What? That's a pity. If our girl can get the favor of Lord Fujima, how great it would be. Many parents who sent their children to school were shocked when they saw Senju Fujima. Many of them had seen his strength. Such a strong man, at least at the level of Jonin, actually came to school. But this does not prevent them from fantasizing that if their daughter is favored by Senju Fujima, maybe she can really fly up to the tree and become a phoenix. Brother Fujima, here. At this time, a little boy who looked a bit like Senju Tobirama in the school grounds waved at him and shouted happily. Little monkey, why are you here? Senju Fujima looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in front of him, the future third-generation Hokage, and was slightly stunned. He slowly walked up and asked. My dad asked me to come. He told me to come to school. I didn't want to come at first. But my dad said that Brother Fujima was here, so I came. Sarutobi Hiruzen has a hedgehog head, exactly the same as Senju Tobirama, except for the different hair color. Perhaps he was infected by the hair color of the Sarutobi family. He wore a blue round neck short-sleeved shirt and looked at Senju Fujima and said with a smile. Well, you kid, how has your strength improved recently? Senju Fujima looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who actually came here because he came to study. Should he be grateful for the great honor he gave him? According to the relationship, Sarutobi Hiruzen is still his younger brother, and his cousin, the future third-generation Hokage. Although he did not do well in the later period, it must be admitted that his leadership ability is still very strong. I have been practicing the ninjutsu taught by Brother Fujima during this period. Now it is no problem to kill a Jonin, Sarutobi Hiruzen heard Senju Fujima's question and smiled proudly. Sarutobi Hiruzen is only 8 years old now, and it is already good to have the strength of a Jonin. It is not that the speed of ninjas in this era is very fast. In this era, becoming a Jonin at the age of 8 is already a genius among geniuses. Even among the members of the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan, there are only a handful of people who can have the strength of a Jonin at the age of 8. Moreover, the strength of the Jonin of this era is not comparable to that of the Jonin of later generations. The strength of the Jonin of this era can at least be equivalent to that of the Penumbra of later generations. Because their combat experience is gained from the mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Although there are ninja wars in the later ninja world, the number is very small after all. In this era, people are fighting every day. If they are not fighting, they are on the way to fight. There is no free time at all. If they don't fight dozens of wars a year, they are all very rubbish families. This is also why the number of ninja inheritors in the family during the Warring States period will become less and less, and it will not increase at all. During the ninja war, there are thousands of ninja armies at any time. This is the difference. Well, kill the Jonin. The strength has improved well. Next time, brother, I will give you a good thing, and I guarantee that your strength will increase greatly. Senju Fujima was a little surprised. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen in front of him, he stretched out his hand and patted his shoulder and said. It's not easy to get praise from Brother Fujima. Ahahaha. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a proud young man in front of others, but in front of his cousin, his talent is really nothing. Hearing his praise is really good. Hiruzen. At this time, several people also walked over here. They were about the same age as Sarutobi Hiruzen and seemed to know each other. Hey, Danzo, Menin, Kaharu, you are here too. Sarutobi Hiruzen heard someone calling him, and quickly turned around and saw 2 men and 1 woman walking towards him. These 3 people are the future Konoha Elders group. Elders, it seems that they already know each other now, no wonder they have such a good relationship later, and they all became elders. Among them, except for Danzo who still has some strength, the strength of the other 2 is indeed a little different. Of course, this is also because Danzo transferred Hashirama's cells and Sharingan, otherwise the strength is still about the same. Yes, this is my first time to go to school. When I knew you were there, I ran over immediately. Mitoman N looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and laughed. So it's these 3 guys, After seeing the 3 people, Senju Fujima raised his mouth slightly and muttered to himself. Are you so happy to go to school? Let me introduce you. This is my brother Fujima, he is the young patriarch of the Senju clan, a powerful one, you are so lucky to meet him today. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not interested in going to school, and then he quickly introduced Senju Fujima to his friends. What, is he Senju Fujima? He's so handsome. Udatane Kaharu heard Sarutobi Hiruzen's introduction. She was only 8 years old now, but she was also a little beauty. When she saw her idol for the first time, a trace of admiration flashed in her eyes. Although she became an old face later, she was also a flower in Konoha when she was young, especially when the second generation Hokage chose to be the last one. Her appearance when she appeared was no worse than any other woman. With a calm mind and a tall figure, she gives people a very mature and royal sister style. Wow, So you are Master Fujima. Master Fujima, hello, my name is Mito Minen, and I'm glad to meet you. Mito Minen heard that the person in front of him was Senju Fujima, and hurriedly stepped forward and asked. Well, hello. Senju Fujima looked at him and replied lightly. Master Fujima, my name is Uchiha Kaharu, very glad to meet you. Uchiha Kaharu looked at Senju Fujima and said shyly, and the shy look was still quite cute. She is quite pretty, like a beautiful girl from a small family, haha. Senju Fujima looked at Uchiha Kaharu in front of him, and the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Well, nice to meet you. Then Senju Fujima looked at Uchiha Kaharu and smiled slightly. Wow, Master Fujima is so gentle, I feel like my heart has melted, I like it so much. Uchiha Kaharu saw that Senju Fujima was so gentle, as if she was in the ocean of love, unable to extricate herself, her heartbeat accelerated, her face flushed, and she thought shyly. Tisk. Shimura Danzo saw that everyone was surrounding Senju Fujima, and he was very disdainful because he was strong. He didn't think he was better than Senju Fujima, so he pouted and didn't say anything. HMPH, what's so great about that? Isn't it just having a good father? Without your father, who are you? You're being treated like a star, disgusting, and arrogant. You're really disgusting. Danzo is jealous. He thinks he's no worse than Senju Fujima, but why do others surround him? But there's not even one person around him who flatters him. He thinks Senju Fujima just has a good father. Without Senju Hashirama, he's nothing. This Danzo is a bit arrogant. I couldn't stand your behavior in my previous life. You really act like you're awesome. Ha. When Senju Fujima saw Shimura Danzo like this, a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. He simply couldn't stand such a person. I hated him when I watched anime, and now I hate him even more. I really want to beat him up. Ding, the host's inner disgust is detected, and the God's Chosen system is activated. Option 1. Kill Shimura Danzo. As the culprit who has harmed Konoha for N generations, his death is not enough to appease the public anger. Reward for completing the task. The Shimura clan leaves Konoha, Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara's mixed doubles, and the host becomes a Konoha rebel. Option 2. Abolish Shimura Danzo. Since he cannot be killed, then abolish him, so that he will never dare to come out to harm the world again, and satisfy the wishes of everyone in front of the screen. Reward for completing the task. The anger of the Shimura clan, the mixed doubles of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, plus becoming a Konoha rebel. Option 3. Beat up Shimura Danzo. Since the above two options are very dangerous, it is better to choose the last relatively safe solution. Reward for completing the task. Danzo's anger, and he is listed as the target of his eternal enemy. You must make a choice. If you don't make a choice, this opportunity for God's Chosen will disappear, and the host's chakra will be reduced by half. Just because Senju Fujima couldn't stand Shimura Danzo, the system detected it again. All three options are not good things. It's a pit in a pit. Puff. System, you really won't feel good if you don't torture me to death, right? What's the difference between this and the second one? You made me a traitor and I have to be beaten. You leave this multiple choice question for fools, right? What's the last option? I'd rather offend a gentleman than a villain. You don't let me kill him, and then you put a villain next to me and plot against me every day. You still don't let me give up, and you want to deduct my chakra. You're cruel, you're really cruel. Senju Fujima deeply suspected that this system must have been designed to deal with him. It didn't give him any benefits, but kept doing these things to him. It was really annoying. But there was no way. When you are at home, disaster will come from the sky. If you don't choose, there will be punishment. What can you do? There is no way, you can only choose. You seem very unconvinced. Since the choice has been made, it is natural to find trouble. Senju Fujima looked at Shimura Danzo and hurriedly walked up to him, looking at him with a mocking look and asked. Shimura Danzo frowned. He was a shrewd man and never did anything he was not sure of. Although he felt that he was not much worse than Senju Fujima, he was actually not as good as him. He could figure it out with his toes. But now Senju Fujima obviously didn't like him. If he didn't say anything, wouldn't he lose his momentum? Let's talk about it later. We can't lose our momentum. This is what Danzo thought in his heart. He turned his head and looked at Senju Fujima in front of him. After a cold snort, he turned his head away and stopped talking. Danzo, what are you doing? Why don't you change your temper? Hurry up and apologize to my brother Fujima. It's over now. Don't make trouble. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen came to be the peacemaker. After all, he didn't want the two to have a conflict. He didn't know why Senju Fujima would take the initiative to come to his house to find trouble today. He hurriedly looked at Danzo and persuaded him. I didn't do anything. Why should I apologize? It's inexplicable. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Danzo frowned more tightly and looked at him with a hint of anger and roared in a low voice. Bang! Instantly, Senju Fujima moved and directly punched Shimura Danzo out. Because Senju Fujima's instant move, Sarutobi Hiruzen and others were stunned for a moment, and none of them knew what to do. You still seem unconvinced. I hate it most when people talk to me with this kind of look and tone. You are the first one. Then you have to be prepared to be beaten by me. Senju Fujima had no reason, so he could only make up excuses and said to Danzo lightly. Cough cough cough. Danzo was knocked out inexplicably. He did not expect that Senju Fujima would actually take action at this time. He was knocked out before he could react. He stretched out his right hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at him viciously. Are you still unconvinced? Then let you taste this again. Senju Fujima looked at Danzo's unconvinced face and said coldly. In an instant, Senju Fujima did not even make a seal, and giant vines appeared directly under Danzo's feet, trapping him directly. When Danzo was ready for battle, but he was inexplicably entangled by a vine and tied up. He was shocked. Are you convinced? Senju Fujima disappeared instantly and appeared in front of Danzo, looking at him coldly and questioning. No, what's your ability to sneak attack? Looking at Senju Fujima in front of him, Danzo shouted loudly, and countless freshmen surrounded him. Danzo knew that he was not Senju Fujima's opponent, but he couldn't lose his momentum. I said you sneak attacked, what's wrong? Are you still proud of winning? If everyone knew that you, the young patriarch of the Senju clan, relied on sneak attacks to fight, he would like to see who was embarrassed. Look, isn't that the young patriarch of the Senju clan? I heard he's very powerful. Didn't you hear? The man just now said that Senju Fujima attacked by surprise and trapped him. That shouldn't be the case. I heard from my dad that Master Fujima is very powerful. The last time, the nine-tailed demon fox was sealed by Master Fujima. What nonsense, he is only 1 or 2 years older than us, how could he be so powerful? My dad said that the 2 first generations subdued the nine-tailed fox. I also heard that the first generation subdued the nine-tailed fox, how could it be that Senju Fujima subdued it? Yes, look, he's still bullying Shimura Danzo. Shimura Danzo, isn't that the young patriarch of the Shimura family? I heard he's very powerful. Just because Danzo shouted like that, countless people pointed at Senju Fujima. They all went to the shelter at that time and didn't see the war outside at all. Even if they saw it, they would think that he was able to succeed only after being suppressed by Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, and that it was not his strength. Therefore, the younger generation still has a partial understanding of Senju Fujima's strength. Really? Then I will put you down and see your strength. Senju Fujima saw a large group of people surrounding him and knew what Danzo was thinking. He raised his mouth slightly, waved his right hand, and directly retracted the wood release and let Danzo go down. After being put down by wood release in an instant, Danzo quickly pulled out a kunai with his right hand and flew directly towards Senju Fujima. Chirp! Senju Fujima didn't even make a move, and the trees attacked automatically and directly blocked the kunai. It must be said that wood release is really convenient. When Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara were fighting, they fought while trees flew across the sky. There was no need to control it at all, as if the trees would attack on their own and continuously launch attacks. Wood release is an attack and defense in one, and it is a product that swept across an era, which is not to be underestimated. Wind release, vacuum wave. Danzo saw that Senju Fujima didn't even move and blocked his attack. He cursed inwardly, then quickly formed a seal, and instantly spit out a colorless strong wind from his mouth, flying directly towards him. Tisk, I thought it was something else. It's so boring. Your attack can't even break my wood-style defense. Seeing the attack launched by Danzo, Senju Fujima shook his head in boredom. Boom boom boom. Instantly, countless vines appeared in front of Senju Fujima and went straight to Danzo. Bang! Danzo's vacuum wave was instantly blocked by wood style, and then the wood style tree trend continued to rush towards him. Such a powerful wood style, I can't even break his defense. Summoning technique. Seeing that his attack was ineffective, Danzo instantly formed a seal and wanted to summon his summoned beast. Paw, ah, but a vine drilled out directly from the ground and directly wrapped around Danzo's hands and legs, not giving him time to form a seal, and instantly broke his seal. Are you a piece of trash who deserves my sneak attack? I haven't even used 1/10,000th of my strength, and you can't do it. Haha, since you are so arrogant, then accept the punishment. Wood release, rattan whip. Senju Fujima looked at Danzo, who was trapped by wood release again in front of him, raised his mouth slightly, and a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. Chakra instantly infused the ground, and two vines grew wildly in front of him and turned into whips, which directly whipped Danzo's body. Paw paw paw, ah, ah, but Danzo was beaten without any power to fight back, and could only passively take the beating. In an instant, he was beaten to pieces by Senju Fujima, and his face was ashamed and angry. Ding! The host's choice is successful, and the task is completed, and the reward is obtained. Danzo's anger, and he is listed as the target of his eternal enemy. At this moment, the choice is successful, and this farce should end. Haha, now you know the gap between us. Okay, I won't play with you anymore, it's time to end it. Senju Fujima smiled at Danzo in front of him, then clapped his hands. What's wrong with this Danzo? He has been standing there motionless. And his legs are still shaking. He was under an illusion, and was instantly bewitched by Master Fujima's illusion. Just now he was shouting that Master Fujima attacked him. Haha, I'm laughing to death, that's it. After putting him down, he was knocked down by an illusion when he threw a kunai. And he said Master Fujima attacked him. He's really shameless. Is this the gap between a big family and a small family? I must become a strong man in the future. Countless children who have just entered school pointed at the captain in front of them, and kept saying that he overestimated his own abilities. Some people saw it and inspired their fighting spirit. They didn't want to be beaten by others like Danzo, so they could only keep making themselves stronger. Huff, huff, huff. At this moment, the illusion that Danzo was in was instantly lifted, and he bent over and gasped for air, looking very embarrassed. How is it possible? What was just now was all an illusion. How is it possible? Danzo didn't believe that he was actually in an illusion. And he was in an illusion without anyone noticing. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes. Hee. Naturally, Senju Fujima wouldn't explain to him why he was inexplicably in an illusion. In fact, when Senju Fujima blocked his kunai, when he was surprised, he was afraid of the wood release and was nervous, and he had already been cast into an illusion. And he didn't realize that he was hit countless times in the illusion, until he felt that Danzo's anger was the strongest. The system judged it as a success. Because they were still in the school, they naturally could not cause large-scale destruction, otherwise the Konoha ninja school they had worked so hard to build would be overturned by his wood release. Danzo, are you okay? At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen ran up and came to Danzo's side, asking with some concern. It's none of your business, you look so fake, hum. After hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Danzo was not grateful, but directly slapped his outstretched hand away, then turned and left. Senju Fujima, I will definitely avenge this hatred, you wait for me, you wait for me. Sooner or later, I will let you die in my hands and make you a dead soul under my knife. Laugh, just laugh, let's see who can laugh last, hum. Danzo walked away quickly, very angry in his heart, his face gloomy, and a trace of cruelty flashed in his eyes. Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen was also somewhat helpless. He didn't expect his cousin to be so impatient. The two of them started fighting right away. How was he going to get along with him in the future? What happened? At this time, the school's ninja chunin teacher also came over, and seeing that there were many people here, he hurried forward to ask. Nothing, just stretching my muscles here. Senju Fujima saw a chunin coming over, and hurriedly said with a smile. Master Fujima. The chunin saw Senju Fujima and hurriedly saluted. Well, everything is fine, let's go. Senju Fujima nodded, and then took Sarutobi Hiruzen and others away. Everyone go to the front to gather, and Lord Hokage will come to give a speech later. The Chunin teacher did not ask more questions. Since Senju Fujima said so, and the opening ceremony was about to begin, he directly asked all the students to gather in front. The opening ceremony officially began. First, Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama gave a speech on what is the will of fire and the inheritance of Konoha, and then said a lot of speeches that were similar to most speeches. The opening ceremony lasted for more than an hour and finally ended. Everyone was divided into classes and classes will officially start tomorrow. The tentative time is for all ninjas to go to school for a maximum of 6 years. From the time they first enter the ninja school, they must pass the genin assessment within 6 years. If they fail the assessment, they will no longer be qualified to become ninjas. Most of them are sent in at the age of 6. If they cannot become genin by the age of 12, then they are almost useless. Now is not a war period. If it is a war period, it would be another matter. Maybe those who have just started school for a short time will be directly pulled out to fight. As long as they can throw kunai, it will be fine. The next morning, after Senju Fujima woke up, he walked directly to the ninja school. Fujima-kun. At this time, a little girl with long purple hair, wearing a black vest, and a Uchiha clan emblem printed on the back of her clothes came over and greeted Senju Fujima. When Senju Fujima heard a girl calling him, he turned around instantly and saw the little Uchiha girl walking towards him shyly. Jing, what a coincidence. Seeing the woman walking over, Senju Fujima smiled slightly. It turned out that the woman walking towards Senju Fujima was his fiancée Uchiha Jing, who was already 10 years old this year, about the same age as him. She was the daughter of the third elder of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha-ji, and was considered to have some status. Well, Fujima-kun, this is the breakfast I made for you. Uchiha Jing was a gentle and shy girl. She took out the lunchbox hidden behind her back and handed it to Senju Fujima, blushing. It's strange to say that the men of the Uchiha clan are all very arrogant, but the girls of the Uchiha clan are more gentle than each other. Very gentle and virtuous, I don't know why, the polarization is very serious. For example, the mother of Jijuzi, Uchiha Makoto, and Uchiha Itachi's lover Uchiha Izumi, are all very gentle and lovely women, and are really rare good wives. Thank you. Have you had breakfast? Senju Fujima did not refuse. This was considered a loving breakfast from his wife. He took it directly, and smiled gently at her. No, not yet. I have another one here. Uchiha Jing was a little breathless by Senju Fujima's direct eyes and gentle smile. Her face became redder and redder, she lowered her head and said, her words became softer and softer. Then let's eat together. Ha ha. Seeing Uchiha Jing's shy look, Senju Fujima smiled inwardly, took her hand directly, and disappeared instantly. When Uchiha Jing came to his senses, he suddenly found himself and Senju Fujima in the forest of Konoha. He was in the village just now, but now he came to the forest. There was a flash of pride in his eyes. Fujima-kun, your hand, scratched me. Then he felt a slight pain, and Uchiha Jing blushed and looked at Senju Fujima in front of him and stammered. Sorry, I didn't pay attention. Senju Fujima used too much force just now, and he might have hurt his wife, so he quickly let go and looked at her apologetically. No, it's okay. Uchiha Jing didn't mind, lowered his head and didn't know what to do, and was stunned for a while. Come, let's sit down and have breakfast. I have to try how the breakfast made by my wife tastes, hee. Seeing Uchiha Jing's shy little look, Senju Fujima felt very proud, as if seeing Hinata Hyuga's cuteness, he liked her so much that he pulled her to sit down. Fujima-kun calls me his wife, I. When Uchiha Jing heard Senju Fujima say this, her face turned redder, she lowered her head and gently touched the index fingers of her two hands, muttering to herself, feeling shy and happy. Wow, what a beautiful bento, and this rice ball, isn't this me? Senju Fujima opened the bento box and saw all kinds of sushi rice balls inside, especially 2 special rice balls that looked like her, and was slightly stunned. I'm going to start. Gabu. Then Senju Fujima took a bite of his own rice ball in his hand. It's delicious. Senju Fujima took a bite, and the rice ball was still very special and tasted very good. It took a whole morning to make it. Uchiha Jing should have gotten up early to make it, right? It was indeed a bit hard. Jing, you will definitely be a good wife in the future. After taking a bite of the rice ball in his hand, Senju Fujima squinted his eyes and smiled, turned his head and looked at Uchiha Jing and said, Wife, wife. When Uchiha Jing heard Senju Fujima say this, she turned her head shyly, her face flushed, almost turning into a red apple, really wanting to go up and take a bite. Fujima-kun, I like it, I like it. Then Uchiha Jing lowered her head and said shyly, Hee, come, let's eat together, we still have to go to school after eating. Senju Fujima saw the shy Uchiha Jing in front of him, smiled, and then took out a rice ball and handed it to her. Uchiha Jing looked at Senju Fujima blankly, stretched out her hand to take the rice ball, with a hint of admiration in her eyes. Everyone dreams of marrying a strong man and a hero, and Senju Fujima is a strong man and a hero. For Uchiha Jing, this is already very lucky and very happy. Ding, the host's happiness is detected to be off the charts, triggering the God's Choice system, and the options have appeared. Option 1. Everyone loves beauty, go up and kiss Uchiha Jing directly, and win Uchiha Jing's first kiss. Reward for completing the task, charm value -1. Option 2. Say to Uchiha Jing, I'm sorry, I don't love you, and I don't want to marry you. Reward for completing the task, corpse veins. Option 3. Play with Uchiha Jing, don't go to school today, and have a good time together. Reward for completing the task, Senju Hashirama's beating, and an ice cream delivery cool, heartwarming, a song of coolness for you. Inexplicably, the system appeared again, and the options on the big screen in front of Senju Fujima made him speechless. System, do you think I will say this if you seduce me with the corpse vein? You underestimate me, don't you? How sad will Jing be if I say this? Is charm useful? I am so handsome, am I afraid I can't find a wife? No, my wife is right in front of me, am I afraid my charm will be reduced by 1? Also, I declare again that I am not masochistic, I will definitely not choose option 3, keep the ice cream for yourself. Senju Fujima frowned when he saw the options on the big screen in front of him. This system is so bloody, it is always digging a pit for me to jump in. I must not be fooled, otherwise I will fall into the trap of the system step by step. Jing, I have something to tell you. Suddenly, Senju Fujima turned his head and looked at Uchiha Jing in front of him, smiling slightly. Fujima-kun, is there anything? After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Uchiha Jing turned around shyly and asked Senju Fujima in front of him. I'm sorry, I don't love you, and I don't want to marry you. Senju Fujima looked at Uchiha Jing in front of him, and felt that he was very serious, and said to her. System, you slapped me in the face so fast, tisk. Ding, the host's choice was successful, and the task was completed, and the reward of corpse vein was obtained. Ding, the corpse vein was successfully transplanted, congratulations to the host's ugly face for successfully upgrading. Just when Senju Fujima said this, the system determined that the choice was valid, and instantly issued a reward. All the abilities and methods of using the corpse vein appeared in his mind. What? After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Uchiha Jing was stunned, and tears flowed down in an instant, as if she could hear the sound of her heart breaking all over the floor. Fujima-kun doesn't like me, he doesn't want to marry me, he doesn't want me to be his wife. What should I do? Woo-woo-woo. This matter is really hard to accept. Uchiha Jing didn't expect that her fiancé would say such words to her. She felt humiliated instantly and wanted to die. Silly, I lied to you. Our Jing is so cute, how could I not like her? And our Jing will definitely be a good wife in the future. I like her so much, how could I not want to marry you? Seeing Uchiha Jing like this, Senju Fujima felt very guilty. He stretched out his hand and pulled her into his arms, saying with some heartache. He also secretly blamed himself in his heart. Why did he slap himself in the face so quickly just now? It was really not worth it to break the heart of such a cute girl. Fujima-kun, woo-woo-woo, I thought you didn't want me anymore, woo-woo-woo. People in the family are basically engaged, and there is no preference at all. If she is really broken off by Senju Fujima, then she will never be able to raise her head in the Uchiha clan again. Hearing Senju Fujima turning over so quickly, she hugged him tightly and cried sadly. Silly, I was just joking. Bo. Seeing Uchiha Jing so sad, Senju Fujima reached out and wiped the tears from her face, then lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Fujima-kun kiss. Kiss me. Me. Okay, so embarrassing, what should I do? This feeling, so strange. Uchiha Jing was kissed by Senju Fujima, and she forgot everything that happened just now and threw it behind her. She was stunned, eyes wide open, staring at Senju Fujima in front of her, not knowing what to do for a moment, but she felt that this feeling was wonderful and did not resist too much. Ding, the host is detected to be stuck with a bug, the system is temporarily confused and the chaos is being repaired. Ding, the system is successfully repaired. Since the host violated the system option settings this time, the corpse bone vein in the host's body is now taken back. The default host chooses to kiss Uchiha Jing, and the charm value is -1. Just when Senju Fujima kissed Uchiha Jing, he thought he had killed 2 birds with 1 stone, but it directly caused the system bug to be born, and the bug was immediately repaired. Moreover, the corpse bone vein he just obtained was directly taken back, and his charm value was -1. This wave was simply a big loss. Puff. System, you are so cruel. Senju Fujima kissed Uchiha Jing's cherry mouth, and after hearing the voice of the system in his mind, he was stunned, almost spitting out a mouthful of old blood, and died directly. The corpse veins in my body have been extracted. Instantly, Senju Fujima felt a slight change in his body. His corpse veins were actually extracted by the system, and the information in his mind disappeared inexplicably. He had more or less resentment towards the system and roared in his heart. I have to say, this system is really cruel. This is considered a bug. Ding, the host's malicious intentions are detected, and the God-chosen system is activated. Option 1. Kill Uchiha Shizuka directly, release the 9 tails, join forces to deal with Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, and successfully rebel against Konoha village. Completion reward. 6 paths mode. Option 2. Remove your limbs, and you cannot repair your limbs within 1 hour. You can use the power of immortality to repair your limbs after 1 hour. Reward for completing the task. Uchiha Shisui's Ultimate Eye Technique, enhanced version of the God of the Gods known as the Strongest Illusion Eye, which can change anyone's will, including Black Zetsu, with a cooling time of 10 years. Option 3. Desire is sealed, no life is allowed within 15 years, and the host can be unsealed after the host turns 25 after 15 years. Reward for completing the task. Kagaya Otsutsuki breaks the seal and becomes your wife, never betraying. Special reminder. The host must complete the choice within today, otherwise he will receive 3 punishments. Not only will Uchiha Shizuka die, his limbs will be removed, and his desire will disappear for 15 years. The system instantly sensed Senju Fujima's malice towards him, and directly fed back to him 3 more malicious options, which appeared directly in front of him. I'm going to die. System, do you really want to kill me? You want me to kill my wife? And you want me to fight Uchiha Madara and my father directly? How much do you want me to be beaten? And you deliberately gave me such a task reward, wanting me to surrender. 6 paths mode, it's really a rip-off. The remaining 2 are even more abominable. They forcibly cut off my limbs. Although I was rewarded with an enhanced version of Koto Amatsukami, did they want me to die of pain? And the last one, although I really want to accept Kagaya Otsutsuki as my wife, there is no need to cut off my life, right? System, you are too cruel. Who created you? You want to hurt me like this? Who did I offend? Puff. Senju Fujima saw the 3 options in front of him, and none of them was good. Each one was more tortuous than the other. But the benefits are more tempting than the other. Not only does he have Kagaya Otsutsuki as his wife, but he also has the 6 paths mode and an enhanced version of Koto Amatsukami. These are simply the 3 most invincible rewards. However, the rewards are so great that the pain he endures is also very huge. This is simply not what a human being does. You must not kill your wife. You must also save your life. Then what should we do? Remove the limbs. What a dog. It's a mandatory choice, otherwise I will just press all 3, what a system. Senju Fujima kept thinking in his heart, how should he make a choice? After all, these three options are difficult to choose. If it is said that the seal is for 10 years, it is still barely acceptable. After all, at that time, he will only be 20 years old, and he will be rewarded with an Otsutsuki wife later, which is simply a big profit. But this is 15 years, not 10 years. In 15 years, he will be 25 years old, too old, and when he gets married, people will think he is not good enough. Jing, it's almost time, let's go back to class first. There is no way. Senju Fujima can only take Uchiha Jing back to school first, part his lips, look at her and say. Uchiha Jing was extremely shy now. She really wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Her first kiss just disappeared like that. It was so embarrassing. She lowered her head and rubbed the corner of her clothes, muttering shyly. Let's go. Then Senju Fujima took Uchiha Jing's hand and disappeared instantly. Soon, the two came to the school gate and walked in directly. Jing, you go to class first. I'm going to the toilet. After entering the school, Senju Fujima pretended to go to the toilet and walked away directly. Wood release clone. In the toilet, Senju Fujima directly separated a wood release clone and asked him to go to school instead of himself, then disappeared directly in the toilet and came directly to the Konoha forest. System, don't give me a chance, I will definitely beat you up when the time comes, After arriving in the forest, Senju Fujima thought viciously, and when he thought of the options given to him by the system, he was furious. Wood release clone. Then Senju Fujima created another wood release clone. As for what it was used for, we don't know, and we dare not say. Kagaya wife, wait for me. In the end, what will Senju Fujima choose? Thinking of Kagaya Otsutsuki's appearance, I believe everyone will like it, and he is no exception. Kagaya. Ah, pa. Instantly, something seemed to fall to the ground and made a sound. Come again. Senju Fujima looked at the clone in front of him and said hurriedly. I saw a wooden sword in the hand of Senju Fujima's wood release clone, and he directly cut off one of his own hands. Crack. Ah, doesn't it hurt? Crack. Still doesn't it hurt? What do you feel? It turns out that the system is just trying to scare me. Soon, all of Senju Fujima's limbs were chopped off by his wood release clone, and blood was flowing all over the ground. Hoo-hoo. Collect the blood, don't waste it. Senju Fujima's wood release clone instantly collected the blood on the ground and quickly stopped the bleeding. Hiss. I thought it would hurt, but it didn't. It's really not something a human would do. Who would have thought that the system was lying? Although I have an immortal body, I can grow again or reconnect all my limbs. But the system doesn't allow it. I was almost scared to death. You're really asking for trouble. One day I'll get revenge, just wait for me. Poor Senju Fujima lay quietly on the ground. The bleeding had stopped, but it had to last for an hour. Although it didn't hurt, time passed very slowly. And this period of time was a kind of time torture, it was simply inhuman torture. It was really worthy of the system to come up with such a method. But fortunately, Senju Fujima now has an immortal body and can't die at all. He can only be sealed, and the pain is much less than that of others. Soon, an hour passed, and Senju Fujima kept calculating the time in his mind, and it was finally time. Ding, I feel that the host has chosen successfully. Congratulations to the host for passing the test and completing the task. Reward, Uchiha Shisui's Ultimate Eye Technique. Enhanced version of Kotoamatsukami known as the strongest illusion eye, which can change anyone's will, including Black Zetsu, with a cooldown of 10 years. Boom. Instantly, Senju Fujima felt a strong dark and evil energy pouring into his mind, and suddenly the method of using Kotoamatsukami appeared, and it was the strongest illusion eye that had been strengthened, which was directly reflected in his left eye, and his left eye instantly evolved into an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. At this moment, Senju Fujima turned into an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, a Mangekyo Sharingan, and possessed the three major pupil techniques. Ahem, this can be considered a blessing in disguise. It turned out to be a test for me, which scared me. Is it to see if I will kill Shizuka for Kagaya and the Six Paths mode? But I actually awakened an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in advance, and I also got an illusion like Kotoamatsukami, which is worth it. The moment Senju Fujima heard the system prompt, he instantly connected his limbs back, and soon they were intact and automatically sutured. Bang! Just after Senju Fujima recovered, he released the would-release clone in front of him. Hoo-hoo, this hour is so long, as if a century has passed. But the effect is still good, Kagaya, let's talk about it later. Anyway, I will release her sooner or later, and then, hee. Everyone has dreamed of getting Kagaya Otsutsuki, without exception, of course including Senju Fujima. Too much physical energy has been consumed, let's go get some fish to eat. After completing the options, Senju Fujima had nothing to do, and felt a little hungry, so he walked towards the river in the forest. Why can't I be selected with my physique? Why can't I become a ninja? I must become a ninja. If I don't become a ninja, I won't be able to protect what I want to protect. Bang bang bang. Not long after Senju Fujima walked, he heard a roar coming from not far away. The figure of the person who spoke seemed very sad and angry. Who is it? Attracted by the sound, Senju Fujima walked towards the place where the sound came from, and saw a young man about the same age as himself, constantly beating the giant tree in front of him with his fists. Bang bang bang. When Senju Fujima approached, the boy didn't notice that there was someone behind him, and his hands were already bloody and his eyes were full of unwillingness. Why? The boy didn't know how long he had been fighting, but he finally stopped, knelt on his knees, and howled to the sky. Do you really want to be a ninja? At this moment, Senju Fujima looked at the desperate boy in front of him and asked lightly. Someone. Who? After hearing what Senju Fujima said, the boy turned around suddenly, with a flash of panic in his eyes. You. Who are you? The boy turned around and saw Senju Fujima. Seeing that he was about the same age as himself, he asked with some confusion. Snake pupils. Who is this? When the boy turned his head, a pair of snake pupils appeared in front of Senju Fujima, which made him stunned. My name is Senju Fujima. I just heard you say that you really want to be a ninja. But your physique is too weak, so you didn't get selected. Is that right? Senju Fujima looked at the man in front of him, retracted his surprised eyes, and asked lightly. Senju Fujima, the young patriarch of the Senju clan. Yes, I want to be a ninja. My parents were killed when the Nine Tails attacked. I want to be a strong man. I don't want to let others control my life. I want to become strong. Only by being strong can I protect myself and the people I care about. But I was rejected. Why is it so difficult for me to become a ninja? When the boy heard that the person in front of him was the most distinguished person in Konoha village, and he was just an inconspicuous orphan, a hint of gloom flashed in his eyes. Thinking of the day when the Nine Tails attacked, he lost his parents directly, leaving him alone in this world, which made him determined to become a strong man. Unfortunately, he was rejected, but he was powerless and could only hate himself for not being capable. It's not impossible to become a ninja. If you are willing to become my subordinate, I can teach you ninjutsu. What do you think? Senju Fujima looked at the man with snake pupils in front of him. There is a high probability that he is Orochimaru's father. After all, Orochimaru is a commoner and does not have a family, so the one who can also have snake pupils must be his father or a relative. For a crazy scientist like Orochimaru, Senju Fujima still enjoys it very much. Not only is he powerful, but also in terms of scientific research, he can be said to have reached the pinnacle and no one can surpass him. There is nothing he can't make, even the Mangekyo Sharingan, he can cultivate it, but it is a rare talent. Become your subordinate. Can you let me become a ninja? After hearing what Senju Fujima said, the boy was a little excited and moved. After all, no commoner can give up such an opportunity, let alone him, a commoner who was rejected by the ninja school. That's right. As long as you become my subordinate, I will guarantee that you can become a ninja, and a powerful ninja. How is it? This deal is a good deal, right? Senju Fujima looked at the boy, knowing that he was moved, and asked him with a smile. Okay, Master Fujima, I will be your subordinate in the future. I hope you can teach me ninjutsu. The boy had no hope of going to the ninja school, but Senju Fujima gave him hope. He was very grateful in his heart, and he knelt on one knee and bowed to him. Now he is a civilian, and it is still very difficult for civilians to become ninjas, let alone strong ones. In this era, no talent will be recognized by others. And Senju Fujima gave him the opportunity to become a ninja, and a powerful ninja. No civilian would choose to refuse. Very good, what's your name? Is there anyone else at home? Look, seeing that the boy was successfully subdued by him, Senju Fujima raised his mouth slightly and looked at him and asked. Report to Master Fujima. My name is Yaki Min, I am 10 years old this year, and I am the only one in my family, no one else. Orochimaru looked at Senju Fujima's report and said that there was no one at home, and a trace of anger and regret flashed in his eyes. Yaki Min, Yaki, could it be Yaki Orochi? Back then, Orochimaru seemed to have a secret technique, the Yaki technique. Could it be that Orochimaru also had a family? But he fell into decline and became a commoner. Maybe, otherwise how could even their snake pupils be passed down? Could their snake pupils be the key to the Yaki technique? After hearing Yaki Min's introduction, Senju Fujima was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that his surname was Yaki. Generally speaking, there are very few commoners with surnames. Then he thought of the secret technique of the snake uncle Orochimaru, and it is very likely that their snake pupils have such a function. Well, then you will stay with me in the future. Tomorrow I will arrange an identity for you and let you go to the ninja school for classes. Take this pill. But soon Senju Fujima retracted his gaze and took out a red pill directly from the system package. This was the chakra pill he made using the Nine Tails chakra. The smallest pill, and the first pill he made, extracted the smallest chakra, but don't underestimate his power. Anyone who takes this chakra pill will be able to directly transform from a civilian into a chunin, even if they have no combat experience. But this is enough to show how powerful he is, not to mention that it also has the effect of prolonging life. It is unknown how much life can be increased. Yes, Master Fujima. Yaki Min had no doubts. He knew that Senju Fujima had no need to harm him, so he didn't ask about the effect of this pill at all, and took it directly. Gurgle. Then Yaki Min took the chakra pill directly. Bang. What? This power. Suddenly, at the moment when Yakifeng applied the chakra pill, he instantly felt the surge of power in his body, and he was still constantly improving his physique, which directly impacted him to the level of chunin. Here, the level is used to represent strength, just to better distinguish the combat power. Otherwise, in the original work, the combat power cannot be measured, and the genin can kill the shadow, which is more troublesome. Good, such a powerful power. Master Fujima. Yaki Min looked at Senju Fujima in front of him, and his heart was extremely grateful. He didn't expect that he could easily gain power and improve his physique. In fact, what he didn't know was that he also absorbed the chakra of the Nine Tails, and it might have unexpected effects at that time. Barely enough, not bad. The strength of a chunin is enough for you now, work harder in the future. Try to make yourself more powerful, because, I don't need trash. Senju Fujima looked at Yaki Min and smiled slightly. Although these words didn't sound very nice, they were very practical and could inspire the fighting spirit of his subordinates and make them work harder to gain strength. Yes, Master Fujima, I will definitely work hard to make myself stronger. Yaki Min looked at the person in front of him, lowered his head quickly, and shouted respectfully. Let's go. Follow me back to the clan. I will have someone arrange it tomorrow. Tomorrow you will go to school to learn the most basic knowledge. Now you have only chakra, but you can't exert the most powerful power at all. You need to control it more. Senju Fujima nodded slightly, then turned and walked forward, and Yaki Min quickly followed. Aben, arrange a room for him. After returning to the Senju clan, Senju Fujima hurriedly ordered the man in front of him. Hello, young clan leader. Young clan leader, who is he? Seeing Senju Fujima calling him, Senju Ben turned around and bowed respectfully, then looked at Yakifeng and asked in confusion. Because this person was obviously not from their Senju clan, why would Senju Fujima let him arrange a room for him? Don't ask if you don't need to ask. How many times have I taught you? Senju Fujima looked at Senju Ben in front of him, frowned, and scolded. Yes, young clan leader, it was my fault. Seeing Senju Fujima getting angry, Senju Ben felt a chill on his back and knelt down to admit his mistake. Okay, arrange it right away. Also, have someone go to the school to arrange it and insert him into the class in the grade, just be in the same class as me. His name is Yakifeng, go. Looking at the timid Kionju Ben in front of him, Kionju Fujima did not blame him much and gave orders directly. Yes, young clan leader, I will do it immediately. Kionju Ben was relieved to see that Kionju Fujima did not mean to blame him, and then stood up. Yakifeng, come with me. Then Kionju Ben looked at Yakifeng and said, although he didn't know why the young clan leader would bring back a child of about 10 years old, but as a servant, he couldn't say anything and could only do it. Well, thank you. Yakifeng bowed to Kionju Ben quickly, as a respect for him. After all, they were also seniors, and he was also living under someone else's roof, so his attitude should be better. Chapter 31. Soon, Senju Ben took Yakimin away, and Senju Fujima was about to turn around and leave when he ran into the person he least wanted to see. Didn't you notice me? Didn't you notice me? Of all the 36 strategies, running away is the best strategy. The wind is strong, run away. Senju Fujima turned around quickly after seeing the person coming towards him, and then left stealthily. Where are you going? But before Senju Fujima left, an angry voice came over. Ah, Mom, nothing, I just missed you a little, and came back to see you, hee. Senju Fujima turned around quickly after hearing Uzumaki Mito's voice, looked at her, and laughed. Really, what time is it now? Who did you learn this from? Have you learned to skip classes? Still want to run away? Is your butt itchy again? Uzumaki Mito was furious, as if an invisible flame was washing over her. Her dignified and noble appearance in front of others completely disappeared in front of Senju Fujima. A chakra chain appeared in her hand at some point and was thrown directly at him. Mom, don't. There are so many people here. It's not appropriate for you to do this. I am the young patriarch of the Senju clan after all. I also have dignity and face. Seeing Uzumaki Mito furious, Senju Fujima quickly used a body flickering technique to dodge his old mother's chakra chain and said awkwardly. You kid also know how to be ashamed. You can't sleep now, so you go to school. Now you're skipping classes for me. How does your mother teach you? What will others say about your father if you see it? You little fool, you still dare to hide, try hiding again. Uzumaki Mito doesn't care about Senju Fujima's identity. She only knows that she is his mother, and it is natural to teach her son a lesson, not to mention such a naughty son. Seeing Senju Fujima still dodging, she was furious and said coldly. Ah, what a scary look. Dad, how can you tolerate such a daughter-in-law? It's so scary. Seeing the cold and fierce look of Uzumaki Mito, Senju Fujima trembled, as if he had seen his nemesis, and stood still for a moment, not daring to move. Then he was tied up tightly by Uzumaki Mito's chakra chain, and screamed. You're still hiding. If I don't teach you a lesson today, you really think I'm easy to bully, right? Snap, snap. Uzumaki Mito saw that Senju Fujima was caught by him, and quickly used the chakra chain as a whip to whip his little butt directly, making a crisp sound. Ouch, ouch. Mom, be gentle, my butt is blooming. Senju Fujima didn't expect that his mother would actually commit domestic violence in broad daylight. This is simply intolerable, and he couldn't help but shout out in a low voice. Sister-in-law, you. What are you doing? Just at this time, Senju Tobirama came over and saw Uzumaki Mito beating Senju Fujima here, and asked awkwardly. Second uncle, save me, second uncle, save me. I didn't do anything, but my mother beat me. You have to save me. Second uncle, I am a young clan leader after all. It's embarrassing for me to be beaten like this. Please save me, second uncle. Senju Fujima saw Senju Tobirama coming over, and a trace of joy flashed in his eyes. He shouted at him and sent a distress signal. Tobirama, what do you think? After hearing what Senju Tobirama said, Uzumaki Mito turned around and stared at him coldly. Hoo-hoo, it's so cold. I have to go home and put on more clothes. This weather is really strange. It's cold when it's cold. Well, I have to go home and collect clothes quickly. Senju Tobirama saw Uzumaki Mito's terrifying eyes, and couldn't help trembling. Then he turned his head away, ignored Senju Fujima's call for help, muttered to himself, and then turned around and ran away. Uncle, you are so disloyal. You, a god of the sea, actually told me that he was cold. Help. Senju Fujima saw that Senju Tobirama actually ran away in disgrace, and shouted loudly. A god of water actually said that he was afraid of the cold, which was simply ridiculous. Next, Senju Fujima still did not escape being beaten up. Destiny. Boy, will you dare to skip classes again? After an unknown amount of time, Uzumaki Mito stopped and looked coldly at Senju Fujima in front of him. Mom, I don't dare anymore. I won't dare anymore. Put me down, I'll go to school now. Stop hitting me. If you hit me again, my butt will really bloom. Senju Fujima was now powerless to resist, and he didn't dare to resist, looking at Uzumaki Mito in front of him with some pleading. HMPH, I don't think you dare. Tianxiang, send the young master back to school in person, watch him walk in, and then come back to report to me. Uzumaki Mito now looked at Senju Fujima begging for mercy in front of him, snorted coldly, then turned around and looked at the little maid behind him and shouted. Yes, madam. Tianxiang's original name was Uzumaki Tianxiang, and she was a member of the Uzumaki clan's side branch. Because Senju Fujima was afraid that the Uzumaki clan would be exterminated, he specifically asked the Uzumaki clan to leave a part of the clan members to join Konoha. Uzumaki Tenka is about the same age as Senju Fujima, so she has always been with Uzumaki Mito. After hearing her words, she said quickly, HMPH. Then Uzumaki Mito directly retracted the chakra chain that bound Senju Fujima and turned away. Master, are you okay? After Uzumaki Mito left, Uzumaki Tenka looked at Senju Fujima in front of her with some distress and shouted. Uzumaki Tenka is about 12 years old, about 1.58 meters tall, with long red hair, a pink panda hairpin on her long hair, wearing a gray and white short-sleeved jumpsuit and a pair of fishnet stockings, looking very cute. It's okay, Tenka, let's go quickly, the tigress will come again later. Senju Fujima grabbed Uzumaki Tenka's hand and ran out immediately, fearing that he would be caught by Uzumaki Mito again, and looked panicked. He. When Uzumaki Tenka heard Senju Fujima call Uzumaki Mito a tigress, she quickly reached out her hand to cover her mouth and laughed out loud with her eyes narrowed. The young master is really handsome. How great would it be if I could marry him? But I'm just a girl from a branch family. I'm not qualified to marry him at all. It's not a good match. Alas, Senju Fujima kept holding Uzumaki Tenka's hand and running to school. As the two of them were running, she had some visions of her future in her heart, but because of her identity, it was impossible for her to marry the young master who was the young patriarch. She could only sigh. I really hope that the world can stay at this moment, so that we can run like this forever. Uzumaki Tenka blushed and thought to herself. This hairpin is cute. Tianxiang, do you like it? Tianxiang, who was pulling Tianxiang Uzumaki to school, suddenly passed by a jewelry store and stopped when he saw a Junying grass hairpin hanging at the door. It was inlaid with several red gems and a long ribbon. He took the hairpin in his hand and asked Tianxiang Uzumaki. What? Just when Tianxiang Uzumaki was still thinking about it, she was pulled to the door of the jewelry store by Tianxiang Uzumaki without knowing it. After stopping, she came back to her senses, turned her head and looked at her master and asked. I'll help you put it on. Tianxiang Uzumaki smiled slightly, took off the hairpin directly, and put it on Tianxiang Uzumaki's head. Yeah, it's beautiful. Soon, Tianxiang Uzumaki took off Tianxiang Uzumaki's original pink panda hairpin, and then put on a new hairpin for her, smiling slightly. Master. At this time, Uzumaki Tenka came back to her senses, saw Senju Fujima's gentle movements, and reached out to touch the hairpin he put on for her. Her heartbeat suddenly accelerated, her face flushed, and she didn't know what to say. Boss, how much? Senju Fujima saw that Uzumaki Tenka's face was blushing, smiled slightly, turned around and looked at the boss and asked. Master Fujima, you don't need to spend money to buy it, give it to your girlfriend. What else do you like? Just pick it, as long as it's you, it won't cost you anything. The owner of the jewelry store saw Senju Fujima and smiled slightly. If he hadn't sealed the 9 tails, they wouldn't be able to do business safely, so they still respected and appreciated him and didn't charge him directly. That won't work. It's not easy for you to make money. This is 1,000 taels, keep it. After hearing what the boss said, Senju Fujima shook his head, then took out 1,000 taels and handed it directly to the boss. It's really not necessary, Master Fujima. You are our savior. We cannot take your money. But the jewelry store owner insisted on not accepting the money and shook his head repeatedly. You'd better take it. Take it. Senju Fujima shook his head. Although he was somewhat grateful for the boss's kindness, he was not short of money. He directly handed the 1,000 taels in his hand to the boss and stuffed it directly into his hand, and then pulled Uzumaki Tenka away again. Little girlfriend, are you talking about me? Ah, well, how embarrassing. I was actually misunderstood as Mr. Fujima's girlfriend. If this is true, how great it would be. After hearing the words of the jewelry store owner, Uzumaki Tenka's face became even more rosy, and she lowered her head, not daring to raise her head. Master Fujima, I really don't want your money, Master Fujima. The jewelry store owner insisted on not taking it, but at this time, Senju Fujima had already pulled Uzumaki Tenka away, and hurriedly shouted loudly, but he couldn't catch up, so he could only give up. Hehe, Tianxiang, take care of her like this from now on, she's so beautiful, I don't know which fool will marry our beautiful little Tianxiang in the future. Senju Fujima pulled Uzumaki Tianxiang and laughed, and when he saw the gentle and lovely little beauty in front of him, he quickly praised her. No, I will stay in the Senju clan all my life, and I will never marry. I will always follow the lady and take care of her. Uzumaki Tianxiang's face turned redder after hearing what Senju Fujima said, and she lowered her head and muttered. Haha, how can I not marry when I grow up? Listen to me in the future, you must marry a man who loves you and cares for you. Senju Fujima saw Uzumaki Tianxiang's shy look, and thought she blushed because he talked about getting married, so he didn't care much, and quickly laughed. But, I want to marry the young master, but is it possible? Uzumaki Tianxiang thought so in her heart, and a hint of gloom flashed in her eyes. And Senju Fujima had never thought about making Uzumaki Tenka his woman. After all, she was also his own kind. Based on the concept of a rabbit not eating grass near its nest, he would not think so far for a while. After an unknown amount of time, the two finally arrived at the school gate. Tianxiang, I'll go in first, you go back. Arriving at the school gate, Senju Fujima looked at Uzumaki Tenka and said. Master, Madam said that I can't leave until you go in. Uzumaki Tenka was unwilling to leave, and stood there, ready to watch Senju Fujima go in. Well, all right, then I'll go in, you go back by yourself. Senju Fujima nodded slightly, then turned and walked in, waving at her. I just want to see you one more time, even if it's just one more time. Uzumaki Tenka watched Senju Fujima walk in, muttering. Until Senju Fujima disappeared from her sight, Uzumaki Tenka reluctantly walked towards the clan of the Senju clan. It's another boring day, and I have to be forced to go to class, it's so boring. When Senju Fujima returned to school, he took back the wood release clone, and then sat in his seat, bored. HMPH, kid, what are you doing here again? In the wet sewer, Senju Fujima appeared here again, sitting quietly on the top of Juwei's head. Juwei didn't mind, and a different light flashed in his eyes, but he snorted coldly. Boring, come in and chat with you. Senju Fujima found the most comfortable position, lay down directly, and said calmly. Tisk, I don't need your company. Juwei curled his lips in disdain. Really, I thought you would miss me. I didn't expect you didn't miss me at all. Haha. After hearing Juwei's words, Senju Fujima smiled slightly. Kurama, do you want to go out? Then, Senju Fujima looked at the dark ceiling and asked lightly. What do you mean? Do you want to let me out? You know, if you let me out, you will die miserably. After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Juwei was slightly stunned, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes, but soon dimmed. The last time Senju Fujima cut off his limbs, he closed the sealed space. Juwei did not see everything outside, so he did not know what kind of physique he had. Hehe, of course I am not sending your body out, can't you split it? Split out a little, Juwei, at least it is better than staying here all day now, right? Senju Fujima sat up directly, looked at Juwei, and laughed. Split. Juwei did not expect that Senju Fujima actually had such a thought. He could indeed split out, and the split still had his thoughts. This seems to be a good method, but it is much better than staying in this broken place every day. This method is feasible, but I still need to extract most of my soul. Kyubi was moved. If Senju Fujima was willing to let him go, he could transform part of his chakra into his own body and inject most of his soul into it, so that he could achieve freedom. Hehe. That's not bad, right? If you want to go out, this is also a good way, isn't it? Senju Fujima looked at Kyuubi and smiled slightly. If you want to go out, this is indeed a good way. Humph. Would you be so kind? Kyuubi looked at Senju Fujima in front of him and said with a cold snort. We are friends, aren't we? Hehe. Senju Fujima appeared in front of Kyuubi in an instant, standing on the wet ground, looking at him with sincere eyes. Friends. Huh. Kyuubi was slightly stunned after hearing what Senju Fujima said, and then a gleam of brilliance flashed in his eyes, and the corners of his mouth smiled slightly. Ding! The host has successfully chosen and completed the task, and has received a reward. Becoming a perfect Jinchuriki, can open all 9 tails modes, and an additional special reward. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving a special reward, opening Kagura's heart eye. Instantly, the system sensed that the 9 tails had successfully regarded Senju Fujima as his true friend, and instantly awarded the reward for the last divine selection, and directly opened his Kagura's heart eye. Yo, Kagura's heart eye. This thing is not bad. I remember that it can detect chakra within a radius of 10 kilometers, which can be called a divine weapon. It is similar to the divine consciousness in those immortal cultivation novels, and the range is quite wide. The moment he heard the system prompt, Senju Fujima instantly had the method of opening Kagura's heart eye in his mind, and he was able to communicate with the 9 tails and open the 9 tails mode, which surprised him a little. Kurama, what are you doing now? Condensing chakra. I will open the seal later, and then release this part of your chakra. Quote. Then Senju Fujima looked at Juwei and said, let him directly separate the chakra, and then release his chakra. Yeah, for some reason, Juwei's heart has changed now. He feels that he is a boy worth entrusting, and he subconsciously regards him as a good friend. Huff, ha, ha. Instantly, Juwei's chakra continued to emerge, and a small Juwei appeared in front of Senju Fujima. This is the appearance of Juwei when he was a child, but it is more than 10 times smaller than when he was the smallest. It has become the size of a plush toy, which is about the size of 2 palms. Soul division. Then Juwei directly split his soul into 2 parts, and the largest part directly sank into the body of the little Juwei, instantly making him agile. Okay, you open the seal, and I can go out directly. Quote. Soon, the 9-tailed fox handled everything. The little 9-tailed fox and the big 9-tailed fox looked at Senju Fujima and said in unison. Hehe, pretty cute, isn't it? I didn't expect that the 9-tailed fox was so cute and adorable when he was a child, haha. Senju Fujima couldn't help laughing when he saw the little 9-tailed fox in front of him, which was only the size of 2 palms. Tisk, this is called mighty, not cute. A trace of anger flashed in the 9-tailed fox's eyes, and he looked at Senju Fujima and curled his lips. Haha, yes, yes, it's mighty, it's mighty. Senju Fujima saw that the 9-tailed fox refused to admit it, and laughed. 4 symbols reversal, release. Then Senju Fujima appeared directly outside the seal, and his 5 fingers stretched directly into the seal, rotating 90 degrees counterclockwise. Ka 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 ka. Quote. Soon, a gap was opened in the seal, and the little 9-tailed fox instantly drilled out from the gap. Hehe, 9-tailed fox, then we'll go first. Senju Fujima saw the little 9-tailed fox beside him, and looked at the big 9-tailed fox still in the seal and closed the seal, and waved at him and said. Tisk. The 9-tailed fox curled his lips and fell asleep in a low voice. Without more than half of his soul, the big 9-tailed fox would also fall asleep. When Senju Fujima wanted to use his power, he would automatically wake up. Hehe. The air outside is still fresh. Your broken seal is really dirty inside. After the 9-tailed fox came out, he stretched out his hands. No, his claws embraced the air, and the 9 cute little tails behind him swayed casually, and a long-lost look flashed in his eyes. Hehe, it's comfortable outside, right? But don't run around, forget it, I'll still cast a spell on you. Quote. In case you don't know who will catch you, I can come and save you right away. Senju Fujima saw the 9 tails on his shoulder and smiled slightly, then he clapped his right hand directly on the 9 tails belly and cast a flying thunder god spell to prevent any accidents. Tisk, I will be caught. You underestimate me too much. If I hadn't been summoned by someone inexplicably, who could catch me? But your father and that Uchiha Madara are really powerful. I admit that I am naturally restrained by wood release and Sharingan. But if other people want to catch me, forget it. Kyuubi was very dissatisfied when he heard what Senju Fujima said, and said with his hands on his waist and his head tilted back. Haha, Kurama, your ugly and cute appearance is really making me laugh to death, haha. Quote. It was the first time that Senju Fujima saw a nine-tailed fox like this, and he burst into laughter. I am ugly. How dare you say I am ugly? I will beat you. When Nine-Tailed Fox heard Senju Fujima actually say that he was ugly and cute, he hated it the most when people said he was ugly, so he jumped up and grabbed him with one claw. Snap. Although Nine-Tailed Fox moved quickly, Senju Fujima moved faster, and instantly reached out and grabbed Nine-Tailed Fox's claw. Hee. Nine-Tailed Fox, don't forget that I am also the one who restrains you, haha. Even if you were in your prime, you would never beat me, let alone now, haha. Senju Fujima grabbed Nine-Tailed Fox in his hand and laughed. HMPH, let me go. You are so cruel, don't give me a chance, if I get a chance, I will definitely beat you up and vent my hatred. Quote. Kyuubi was caught in Senju Fujima's hand, snorted coldly, and shouted loudly. Haha, that's wrong, why do I feel that this sentence is so familiar? Seeing the frustrated look of Kyuubi, Senju Fujima laughed loudly, and soon, I felt that what Jue said sounded familiar, as if I had heard it somewhere before, and I was stunned for a moment. The system muttered weakly. Isn't this what you said to me before? You forgot it so quickly. Your brain is really not working well. Wow, what a cute pet, I like it so much. It's so cute, Fujima-kun, can I play with it? It's so fun, Fujima-kun, can I touch it? This pet is really cute, so small, and so cute. Jue and Senju Fujima suddenly forgot that they were still in class. Now, they ignored so many classmates and talked unscrupulously in class. Senju Fujima suddenly heard many girls' voices around him, and was stunned for a moment, then turned his head and looked, and saw that the girls in the class were staring at Jue in his hand, and they seemed to like it very much. Senju Fujima, you are disrupting the order of the class. Now, immediately, get out of the classroom. And Senju Fujima's teacher was angry. Although Senju Fujima was the young patriarch of the Senju clan, once you entered the school, you would be under his management. In his eyes, there were only students, no hierarchy. Seeing that Senju Fujima was playing with pets unscrupulously in class, he yelled at him immediately, his face flushed, just like Iruka teaching Naruto. Sorry, Teacher Irity, I forgot just now, hehe. Then I'll go out first, and I won't disturb you in class. Don't be angry. Seeing that Irity seemed a little angry, Senju Fujima laughed and ran out with the 9 tails. Although he was not afraid of Irity, he was afraid that Irity would complain to Uzumaki Mito, and he would be miserable at that time, so it was better not to offend the teacher, otherwise he would be the only one who would be hurt. Fujima-kun. Uchiha Jing looked at Senju Fujima with some concern. Seeing him being scolded by the teacher, she wanted to walk out with him and muttered to him. When Senju Fujima went out, he also winked at Uchiha Jing and walked out with a smile, which made her look a little shy and lowered her head. Her red face was very cute. Wow, Master Fujima is so handsome, even his pet is so handsome, I really like him. Yes, I really envy Jing. She actually got engaged to Master Fujima directly, it would be great if I was the one she got engaged to. You look like this, will anyone want you? Don't you look at your own weight? It's better to be me. You are a woman with less than 2 pounds of meat on your butt. You still have the nerve to say that to me. Maybe Master Fujima likes a slightly fat girl like me. The girls originally regarded Senju Fujima as their idol. Not only is his family rich and powerful, but he is also powerful. The most important thing is that he is so handsome. Which woman doesn't like him? Because of this incident, the girls in the same class almost fought for it. Master Fujima. When Uchiha Jing heard everyone talking, her face flushed, she lowered her head and played with her fingers, not knowing what to say, and she was very shy. HMPH. Irity watched Senju Fujima leave the classroom and slowly withdrew his anger. Everyone sit down and listen carefully. Next we will talk about the seal-making techniques and application skills of the clone technique. If the clone technique is used well, it can also confuse the enemy, even if it is only for 1 second. This 1 second is enough for you to make the next plan. After Senju Fujima left, the originally restless students calmed down a little, but there were still some whispers, which were soon cut off by Irides shouting. Everyone listened to the class very well. You are so timid. If these people dare to scold me, I will flatten them with a tailed beast ball, but you dare not do anything. Tisk, how shameful. The 9 tails stood on Senju Fujima's right shoulder. Thinking of Iride yelling at him just now, he actually had no temper at all, and couldn't help but mocking. Haha, it's nothing, just give him some ground, after all, he's a teacher. If my dad finds out that I'm fighting in school, won't my ass be bruised? I'm not that stupid, haha. After hearing what Juwei said, Senju Fujima laughed out loud, looking disapproving. Tisk, being timid is being timid, no need to explain. I only know one thing, if you don't accept it, fight, if you can't win, keep fighting until you beat them down. Juwei curled his lips, a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes, and he curled his lips and sneered. Haha, whatever you say, I don't have a masochistic tendency. Senju Fujima heard Juwei's ridicule, didn't care, and smiled slightly. Soon, a class was over. Master Fujima, please don't mind what happened in class just now. After all, this is a school and a classroom. You can't disrupt the order of the class. After the class, Iride walked out first, bowed to Senju Fujima, and said to him that he clearly distinguished between public and private affairs, and was serious in some places and tolerant in some places, and he had to be relaxed and tense. Haha, it's okay, Teacher Iride, I am your student in school, there is no problem, don't take it to heart. Senju Fujima looked at Iride and smiled slightly. He didn't care about this. Anyway, these basic courses were of no use to him at all. Fortunately, he didn't need to practice much now. He just needed to increase his chakra and then merge the Uchiha bloodline and Senju bloodline in his body. When the Samsara Eye is awakened, he can reach the level of 6 paths. His current strength is infinitely close to the realm of God. If the 9 tails is counted, he is already a powerful god who can rival Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. Well, I'll leave first. Iride was relieved when he heard Senju Fujima say this. He was originally a civilian ninja, and being able to attend classes in the ninja school was already a very good treatment. At least his children will be able to get a better education in the future. Although it is not good to offend Senju Fujima, he has his own principles, so he will not change his sacred duty as a teacher just because he is the young patriarch of the Senju clan. Well, Senju Fujima nodded slightly, and then Iride turned around and left. Fujima-kun. After class, Uchiha Jing also came out quickly, came to Senju Fujima shyly, and called softly. Jing, come out. Senju Fujima saw Uchiha Jing coming out and smiled slightly. Tisk, only humans have such complicated emotions. The 9-tailed fox stood on Senju Fujima's shoulder and muttered disdainfully said. Yeah, just now, Fujima-kun, are you okay? Uchiha Jing asked with some concern. Nothing, what are you thinking about? Is your husband's psychological endurance so poor? Hee. Senju Fujima saw Uchiha Jing's worried eyes and reached out to pat her on the head. Yeah, Uchiha Jing did not dodge, but she felt more ashamed in her heart. Her face was flushed, and she really wanted to rush up to hug her and kiss her. Fujima-kun, what kind of pet is this? I think he is so cute. Then Uchiha Jing saw the 9-tailed fox on Senju Fujima's shoulder, and a trace of love flashed in her eyes, and asked with a smile. Ha, his name is Ju Lama, a special pet, I caught him back. Do you like it? Come, let me hold it for you. Senju Fujima saw that Uchiha Jing liked the 9-tailed fox a little, smiled slightly, and then directly caught the 9-tailed fox and handed it to her. Boy, what do you want to do? I'm not a pet. You actually want me to please your girlfriend. Let me go, let me go. Cuba was extremely unwilling, staring at Senju Fujima with murderous eyes, threatening. Haha, it doesn't matter. We are all friends in the future. It doesn't matter, hee. Senju Fujima looked at the cursing Cuba, smiled, and handed it over. No matter how Cuba struggled, he couldn't get away. Hee. Fujima-kun, He is so cute, but he doesn't seem to want me to hug him, forget it. Uchiha Jing saw the Cuba in front of her and smiled slightly, but didn't force her to hug him. It's okay, here. Senju Fujima didn't care about Cuba, and directly stuffed him into Uchiha Jing's arms. Hee. Kurama, your fur is so comfortable and cute, I like it very much. Uchiha Jing saw Senju Fujima stuffing the nine tails into his arms, smiled slightly, then lowered his head and hugged him in his arms, stretched out his hand to touch his fur, and smiled with narrowed eyes. HMPH. The nine-tailed fox was helpless, as if being held in the arms of Uchiha Shizuka, and was very aggrieved, turning his head, looking unhappy. Haha. Seeing the nine-tailed fox like this, Senju Fujima couldn't help but laugh. What? The nine-tailed fox has more than one-tailed beast. There are 8. At this time, Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama were sitting in the office, and Sarutobi Sasuke was also at the scene. He reported to the 2 Hokage based on the information provided by Sarutobi, which also shocked them. That's right. Although we haven't seen it, they have a clearer understanding of the summoned beasts like Sarutobi and others. It is said that there was a very terrifying 10 tails 1,000 years ago, but for some reason, it was split into 9-tailed beasts by the 6-path sage. And the 9 tails is the most powerful one among them. We don't know how powerful the others are. Sarutobi Sasuke told all the information he knew, which indirectly reminded Senju Hashirama and the others that it was possible that the 8-tailed beasts would be summoned by the Black Zetsu at any time. Well, we know, Sasuke, thank you for your hard work, you go back first. Senju Hashirama looked at Sarutobi Sasuke, nodded slightly, and then motioned him to go back. Then I'll take my leave first. Sarutobi Sasuke nodded slightly and turned away directly. Ban, what do you think would happen if all the 8-tailed beasts were summoned by that person at the same time? After Sarutobi Sasuke left, Senju Hashirama frowned, turned his head and looked at Uchiha Madara and asked. If they appear alone, neither of us is afraid. But if 8-tailed beasts appear at the same time, the 2 of us will be too busy to deal with them. It is very likely that our entire Konoha village will be destroyed. Even if the 2 of us survive and successfully capture the 8-tailed beasts, it will be useless. Uchiha Madara frowned. He knew that if the 8-tailed beasts appeared directly inside the village at the same time, it would be difficult for them to deal with them, especially if they appeared directly in the middle of the village. Ordinary villagers, even Chunin and Genin, would have almost no chance of escaping. This also made the 2 people a little distressed. After all, they have not awakened the Samsara Eye yet, and they can't find a way to deal with the Black Zetsu for the time being. They feel a little messy in an instant. That's right, if we don't make plans first, then Black Zetsu will summon the 8-tailed beasts directly. It won't matter to us, but we are afraid that the villagers will suffer heavy casualties. So we must take some actions. We must not let Black Zetsu summon all the tailed beasts at once. Hashirama Senju frowned, nodded slightly, and said after thinking for a moment. Then what good ideas do you have? We don't even know where Black Zetsu is now. How to deal with this? Uchiha Madara was at a loss for a moment. After all, they couldn't catch Black Zetsu and didn't know where he was, let alone catch him. Simple defense was really difficult. After all, you don't know when Black Zetsu will suddenly attack, and it will be really troublesome at that time. Well, I thought of a good plan. But I don't know if it's feasible. I plan to let Izuna and Tobirama come to discuss it. Hashirama Senju already had an idea in his mind, but he had to wait until everyone voted before making a decision. What method? Uchiha Madara was somewhat interested, and quickly turned to look at Senju Hashirama and asked. Although we have established the Konohagakure, there are still 4 other countries that have established the Sand Village, the Cloud Village, the Rock Village, and the Mist Village. But now the major villages are still in constant dispute and attack each other, not to mention that those villages are eyeing our Fire Country and want to obtain the rich resources on the land of the Fire Country. Since there is only the 9-headed tailed beast, then we will directly capture all the 9-headed tailed beasts, and then distribute the 9-headed tailed beasts equally according to their strength. Since the 9-tailed beast is the most powerful, then we will leave only the 9-tailed beast alone. That's enough. The other 8-tailed beasts can also be distributed evenly, with 2-tailed beasts in each village. In this way, each village will have a tailed beast, which will deter each other. As long as the tailed beasts are dispersed, other villages will definitely protect their own tailed beasts, and our worry that Black Zetsu will summon all 8 tailed beasts at the same time will no longer exist. This may also achieve peace and there will be no more wars. What do you think? Senju Hashirama expressed his thoughts and prepared to capture the tailed beasts and then distribute them evenly to the 4 major countries. This might be the most perfect ending. HMPH, impossible. Why should we capture the tailed beasts and distribute them to them? Don't we have the 9 tailed beasts ourselves, and can't we force them to surrender directly to our Konoha? Why can't you think differently? We have powerful strength, so can't we put an end to the chaos? If we distribute them equally, and they use the tailed beasts to start a war, wouldn't that be very disadvantageous to us? At least if they use the power of the tailed beasts, our middle and lower ninjas will be slaughtered. I don't think this is appropriate. If we want to capture them, we must capture all 9 tailed beasts in our own hands. After hearing what Hashirama Senju said, Uchiha Madara roughly knew what he was thinking, and frowned, but he also had a different understanding. He felt that if the big tailed beasts got the tailed beasts, they would definitely be more rampant than before, and it would also lead to many unnecessary casualties of middle and lower ninjas when the war started. This would greatly increase the probability of war, so it is impossible to distribute the tailed beasts evenly. What you said makes sense. Then let Tobirama and Fujima testify. The minority obeys the majority, or the same as before, do you dare? Hashirama Senju heard what Uchiha Madara said, and thought about it. He felt that what he said was not wrong, but the specific implementation still needed to be discussed seriously. Tisk, what's there to be afraid of? They will definitely agree with the choice I said. Uchiha Madara was very confident. He felt that if he did this, he would definitely get the approval of his brother and Tobirama Senju and others. He said with a disdainful curl of his lips. Yo, where does your confidence come from? Ah ha ha. Do you remember that you lost to me last time, ha ha. Hashirama Senju saw Uchiha Madara's mysterious confidence and laughed. Tisk, you were lucky last time. Uchiha Madara said a little unconvinced. Go call Tobirama and Izuna over. Also, send someone to call Fujima over as well. Then Uchiha Madara said lightly. Yes, Shodaime-sama. Instantly, a black figure disappeared in the Hokage's office. Sir Tobirama, the 2 Shodaime-samas invite you. Just as Senju Tobirama was walking with Sarutobi Shizuka on the street, a cat-faced Anbu appeared in front of them and said respectfully. Big brother, what's the matter? Senju Tobirama frowned. It was rare for him to go shopping with Sarutobi Shizuka today, but now he had something else to do, so he asked lightly. Report to Sir Tobirama, it seems to be because of the matter of the tailed beasts. The other subordinates don't know. The Anbu quickly replied, but he didn't know the truth. He was just someone sent by Uchiha when. Tailed beast. Yes, I know, I'll go right away. After hearing what the Anbu said, Tobirama Senju frowned and nodded, then looked at the Anbu in front of him and nodded. Yes, Lord Tobirama. Swoosh. When the Anbu heard what Tobirama Senju said, he nodded quickly and disappeared on the spot. I'm sorry, Shizuka, my brother has something to do with me, so I can't accompany you today. Tobirama Senju looked at Shizuka Sarutobi beside him with some apology, and said helplessly. It doesn't matter. I'm very happy that you have time to accompany me for a walk today. Since my brother called you over, then go quickly. I'm fine. Go. Shizuka Sarutobi looked at Tobirama Senju in front of him, squinted his eyes and smiled, still so gentle and considerate. Well, then you go around. If there's nothing else, I'll be back right away. Pooh. Senju Tobirama nodded slightly, then kissed him on the forehead, and then disappeared from the spot. There are so many people. My husband is really embarrassing. Sarutobi Shizuka saw that Senju Tobirama actually kissed her in public, which made her blush instantly, and then she ran away quickly. And Uchiha Izuna has also been notified. He and Senju Tobirama are basically both in the route, but they always have to rest, so when one of them rests, the other will be stationed at the route headquarters. Today is Uchiha Izuna's turn to guard the route headquarters. After receiving the news from Uchiha Fumi, he immediately disappeared from the spot and walked towards the Hokage's office. Master Fujima. And on Senju Fujima's side, an Anbu suddenly appeared and shouted to him respectfully. What's wrong? Is there anything? Senju Fujima was still playing with Kyuubi and Uchiha Shizuka, when suddenly an Anbu appeared. He turned his head and looked at him in confusion and asked. The two Shodime adults are calling you over. Please go immediately. The Anbu said hurriedly, and told him the purpose of his visit. Oh, why did Daddy and Uncle Madara call me? After hearing what the Anbu said, Senju Fujima was slightly stunned and muttered to himself. I know, you go down. I'll be there soon. Then Senju Fujima waved to the Anbu and said. Yes, Master Fujima. After the Anbu finished speaking, he disappeared directly from the spot. Shizuka, you play by yourself first, and remember to ask for leave when you go to class later. Daddy has something to ask me. After the Anbu left, Senju Fujima looked at Uchiha Shizuka and said. Well, Fujima-kun, then you go. I'll tell Mr. Irati later. Uchiha Jing and Senju Fujima have been together for a long time, and she is not so shy anymore, and she doesn't stutter when she speaks. She finally starts to be normal. In her heart, she has positioned herself as his woman, and said gently. Yeah, Kurama, let's go. Senju Fujima smiled at Uchiha Jing, then grabbed the nine tails and disappeared on the spot. Boy, I don't want to see those two perverts. When the Nine Tails heard that he was going to see Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, he instinctively resisted, but before he could finish shouting, he was taken away by Senju Fujima. Soon, Senju Fujima appeared directly in the office. He had already cast a spell here, so it was very convenient to go back and forth, and he appeared in the Hokage's office in an instant. And the last pervert's words came over before Juwei finished speaking, but fortunately the whole sentence was not transmitted. So fast. It turns out that the spell was cast in the office. I say, boy, why are the spells engraved everywhere? Style. Uchiha Madara smiled slightly when he saw Senju Fujima coming over. He didn't know why, but he felt very close to Fujima when he saw him, as if he was his son. Uncle Madara, you're right, I have set up spells for the whole Konoha. I can go wherever I want. It's so convenient, haha. After hearing what Uchiha Madara said, Senju Fujima smiled slightly, then kicked his right foot, and a wooden stool appeared behind him, and he sat down directly. Dong dong dong. At this time, there was a knock on the door outside. Come in, Senju Hashirama shouted to the outside of the door. Squeak. Instantly, the door of the office was opened, and Uchiha Izuna and Senju Tobirama walked in. Sit down. Senju Hashirama waved his hand, and two wooden stools appeared in front of the office desk. Brother, is there anything? Brother, what's the matter with calling me here? Senju Tobirama and Uchiha Izuna sat down quickly, looked at them and asked in confusion. Yes, Dad, what's the matter with you? Tell me, what's the matter with calling us here? You know, I'm still in class. Senju Fujima was also a little confused, looking at Senju Hashirama and asked. Nine-tail, Fujima, why did you let the nine-tail out? At first, I didn't notice it. At this time, the four people present found out that what was in Senju Fujima's arms was actually the nine-tail. The four people present were a little shocked. No, this is just a little bit of Kurama's chakra. He is already my friend, so naturally I can't always spoil him. Kurama is very obedient, nothing will happen, don't worry, Senju Fujima didn't care, and said with a smile while looking at the four people present. Friend, Kurama, Uchiha Madara and the other four looked around, somewhat unbelievable. Kurobi heard what Senju Fujima said, turned his head and snorted coldly, but when he heard him say that the two of them were friends, his heart warmed. As expected of my son, not bad, not bad. Who said that the tailed beasts can't live in peace with humans? Didn't Fujima do it? Besides, even the tailed beasts can become friends with humans, so why can't we humans live in peace? Senju Hashirama was very happy. He also saw a precedent. Seeing Senju Fujima and the Nine Tails become friends, he was very happy. Okay, Hashirama, let's discuss the important things first. Uchiha Madara didn't care. Anyway, the Nine Tails was trash in his eyes. Except for Senju Hashirama, he never looked up to anyone, even the Nine Tails. Well, yes, let's talk about the issue we are going to discuss today. Both Madara and I have an opinion. Let's see who is better to listen to. Hashirama heard Uchiha Madara say this, nodded slightly, and then the 5 people began to discuss. Then Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara expressed their opinions and told them that there were 9-tailed beasts and they didn't know which option they should choose next. Brother, I think Madara's proposal is more reliable. People are greedy and may not be good people in other countries. If we distribute the tailed beasts equally among them, they may use them to start a war. So I don't agree with this. I also think that we should gather all the 9-tailed beasts in Konoha and make them into war weapons to deter other countries so that they dare not act rashly. I think this is the best choice, otherwise the peace we want will never come. We must have absolutely powerful power to deter other countries. If we have deterrence, we can order them not to start a war. This is the root of peace. We must have absolute power. Whether we use the power of the 9-tailed beasts is secondary. But we have this power, so we have a say in the world, and they don't, so they must be weaker than us. As long as we don't start a war, there will be no war in the world. Senju Tobirama also agreed with Uchiha Madara's opinion. This was the only time he thought Uchiha Madara was right. After all, they control the power but don't use it, and have strong power and want to use it. These two choices are completely different. As long as they stand at the top of the world, they can be ordered to protect world peace. This is what he thinks is the most effective way. Well, I also agree with Tobirama and my brother. Hashirama, your proposal is still a bit idealistic. I recently got intelligence from the root. The other 4 countries are all at war, but they are not at war with our Konoha. They attack each other just to compete for interests. If they have tailed beasts, it will be even more difficult to suppress. The war that breaks out at that time will probably be much more terrifying than it is now. So I think that such a powerful force as the tailed beast must be controlled in our own hands. Uchiha Izuna also thinks so. If you think about this matter more deeply, you will find the problem. World peace does not rely on self-consciousness at all, but must rely on strength. If we have power, others will not dare to bully us. If we want to bully others, we will oppose their bullying. If we have power, we have absolute right to speak for peace. Is my idea really so unreliable? Hashirama Senju lowered his head instantly, feeling very depressed, and felt that he had failed miserably as the Hokage. Ding, a historical event is detected to be about to happen, and the God's Chosen system is activated. Option 1. Agree with Uchiha Madara's method, gather all the 9-tailed beasts in Konoha, and create 9-tailed beast Jinchuriki. Reward for completing the task, Kai Huang's tight sportswear. Option 2. Agree with Hashirama Senju's method, distribute the 9-tailed beasts equally to other countries, and charge a high fee for selling the tailed beasts. Reward for completing the task, Shaoli's tight sportswear. Option 3. Put forward your own opinion, gather the 9-tailed beasts in Konoha, and seal them all in the bodies of the Uzumaki clan, let them become pets in the current form of the 9-tailed fox, live in peace with humans, and force the 4 major villages of Sand Village, Rock Village, Mist Village, and Cloud Village to sign a peace agreement. Reward for completing the task, the favor of the 9-tailed beasts. At this moment, the God-chosen system came out to play again, and options suddenly appeared in front of Senju Fujima. Uncle Madara, Dad, second uncle, Uncle Izuna, let me put forward my personal opinion. After hearing what the system said, Senju Fujima's mouth twitched a little. Shaoli, and is there any difference between Kai Huang's tight sweatpants? This is simply not wanting to benefit yourself. It's so shameless. Oh, Fujima, tell me quickly. Senju Hashirama seemed to have met a savior, thinking that his son would choose his plan, and said with expectation. And Senju Tobirama and others also turned their heads and stared at Senju Fujima, wanting to know his answer. After all, the proposals he put forward seemed to be quite effective for the time being, so he still had a certain status in the minds of several people. Dad, Uncle Madara, Uncle Izuna, I think we can live in peace with the tailed beasts. Just like Kurama now, I think we should capture all 9-tailed beasts and seal them in the bodies of our Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki clan has a strong physique and is the most suitable for being a Jinchuriki. And let the 9-tailed beasts each condense their own small bodies, just like Kurama. Their bodies are too large, so they are difficult to control, but when they become so small, they are easy to control, and they will not run around and make trouble everywhere. Quote, they can also become the mascot of our Konoha village, so that more people can understand them, like them, and let them truly integrate into our human home. If they are used as weapons blindly, their resentment will grow. If no one in the ninja world can suppress them, endless wars will break out. So I think we must let them be friends with us, which is the best solution. Then, Senju Fujima expressed all his opinions. He chose option 3 because the first 2 were useless. After gaining the favor of the 9-tailed beasts, even if he combined them into 10 tails to fight, he could still separate them again after the battle. It can not only be their protective force, but also prevent others from getting the 9-tailed beasts, and hold them firmly in the palm of your hand. Why not? This kid is really different from other humans, hehe. This friend is not bad. Kurama was very angry when he heard what they said. They all regarded their tailed beasts as weapons of war, as if they were born to be sealed and used as tools. How could he not be angry? But after hearing what Senju Fujima said, the corner of his mouth slightly raised, indicating that the friend he made was not that bad. Well, I think what Fujima said is right. We already have powerful strength and don't need the power of the 9-tailed beasts at all. Isn't our original purpose to prevent Black Zetsu from getting the other 8-tailed beasts? They are usually not captured under our own noses, but if they are in other villages, with his power that is unnoticed by anyone, he may still be able to snatch the tailed beasts. When the time comes, the 8-tailed beasts will directly attack Konoha, and we won't even have time to react. Uchiha Madara agreed with Senju Fujima's opinion very much, because his opinion was very similar to his own. Anyway, it is better to control all the 9-tailed beasts in his own hands. Then he looked at Senju Hashirama and said openly. After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Senju Hashirama also fell into deep thought and began to think about whether the world he constructed was feasible. Well, I agree too. Uchiha Izuna thought for a moment and nodded slightly. I agree too. Senju Tobirama also agreed. He didn't care what would happen to their tailed beasts, but the 9-tailed beasts had to be kept in Konoha obediently so that he could feel at ease. Fujima, are you sure that, except for Kurama, other tailed beasts can live in peace with us humans like him? Senju Hashirama finally had a doubt. If the 9-tailed fox could live in peace with them, what about other tailed beasts? Indeed, his previous thoughts were a bit naive. The tailed beasts also had their own thoughts and were not weapons of war. If they could really live in peace with the tailed beasts, there would indeed be fewer wars and casualties. As long as they are still alive in this world and have the deterrence of the 9-tailed beasts, it will indeed be very difficult for the other party to fight. HMPH, that's not a problem. We are not evil, it's just that you humans are too greedy and always want to get something from us. In the end, didn't everyone lose their lives? If you have the same sincerity as Fujima, then living in peace with us is not a dream. It all depends on your attitude. We have almost no opinion. At this time, Kyuubi interrupted and said to Senju Hashirama. Haha, that's right, Dad, if you can treat them as living people and friends like me, then there will be no problem at all. Senju Fujima smiled at Senju Hashirama and stretched out his hand to stroke Kyuubi's comfortable hair. Don't touch my head, Kyuubi slapped Senju Fujima's hand away in an instant, saying somewhat unhappily. Ha ha ha, everyone present couldn't help laughing after hearing what Kyuubi said. Okay, no more words, let's vote directly. Who do you choose? Let's just say it directly. Anyway, there are 5 of us. Whoever gets the most votes will decide whose proposal to use. Uchiha Madara smiled for the first time, and then looked at everyone and said. Well, let's get started. Senju Hashirama also had his own answer in his mind, and nodded slightly and said. I choose Fujima. In the end, all 5 people agreed with Senju Fujima's proposal. Okay, then we will start to catch the other tailed beasts. We just need to catch them. Tobirama, Izuna, you 2 send members of the route to search all over the world. If you find any traces of the tailed beasts, report to us immediately. Fujima, don't go back to school for the time being. Go out and look for other tailed beasts. Be careful along the way. You have wood release, so the tailed beasts can't do anything to you. You also have the 9 tails. I'm not worried about you. After confirmation, the final choice was made. Hashirama Senju quickly asked Tobirama Senju and Izuna to send members of the route out, Go find the big-tailed beasts. As long as they are found, he and Uchiha Madara can set out to subdue them all, and then bring them back and seal them together. I know, big brother. I know, Hashirama. Senju Tobirama and Izuna nodded repeatedly, then turned around and walked out. Hashirama, what are you doing? Fujima is still so young, what if he meets that black Zetsu? I don't agree with him going out. Just send the people from the route to search. Others are unnecessary. As long as the tailed beasts are found, I can control them with a glance and summon them directly back to Konoha. Is it a waste of time to let Fujima go out? It's better to stay at home honestly, so it's safe. Uchiha Madara disagreed. He treated Senju Fujima as his own child, as important as his brother. What if he was sent out and seen by that black Zetsu and encountered danger? So he was determined not to let him go out, and directly rejected Senju Hashirama's proposal. Ban, what are you doing? Hashirama Senju was a little confused. He asked Fujima Senju to go out. He had absolute strength and the 9 tails. He was definitely able to protect his safety. There was basically no one in the world who could be his opponent. But Uchiha Madara disagreed, and his reaction was so strong that he was stunned. Uncle Madara, don't you know my strength? It's okay. I'm also worried about having nothing to do. It's too boring to go to school. Since I have completed your tasks and let other family members enter the school, there should be nothing for me to do, right? Besides, I have Flying Thunder God. No one can catch up with me. I won't be in danger. Dad, don't you think so? Haha, Fujima Senju had wanted to go out a long time ago. Now it's meaningless to stay at home. He has to go to school. It's so boring. Now it's finally time to go out by myself. How great would that be? A happy life is waiting for me. Why not? No, I don't agree. I'm the Hokage, I have the final say. Uchiha Madara said he would not agree to anything, turned around, and said with a curled lip. Haha, Madara, it's okay, Fujima has time and space ninjutsu, it's no big deal outside. Can't I send another wood-release clone to protect him? It was the first time that Senju Hashirama saw Uchiha Madara's expression, and he laughed out loud. Humph, that's more like it. Since you're going out, you can't do without money. Here's 5 million taels. You take it first, and if it's not enough, ask Uncle Madara for more, Uchiha Madara heard what Senju Hashirama said, and there was no reason not to let him go out, so he agreed. Then he took out a scroll and handed it to Senju Fujima, which contained a huge sum of 5 million taels. This is better than having a biological father. Uncle Madara is still the best. Unlike my father, who is so stingy. Seeing the 5 million ryo given to him by Uchiha Madara, Senju Fujima laughed and took it quickly, thanking him, and did not forget to look at Senju Hashirama and complain. Haha, it's raining outside, I should go back to collect the clothes, right. After hearing what Senju Fujima said, Senju Hashirama laughed and ran away. His money was all for gambling, and he couldn't give it to his son to squander. Tisk, your father is like this, he always loses every time he gambles, and it's spread all over the village. He still owes me tens of millions of ryo. But your Uncle Madara has plenty of money, he won't be as stingy as your father, spend it. Ask me if it's not enough, Seeing Senju Hashirama fleeing in a panic, Uchiha Madara smiled slightly, then reached out and touched Senju Fujirama's head and smiled. Okay, Uncle Madara, I'll go first, Senju Fujima took the 5 million taels in his hand, which was enough for him to squander for a few years. Wouldn't it be wonderful to go out for a trip, eat and play everywhere? Then he waved to Uchiha Madara and said, well, go. Uchiha Madara smiled at him and waved at him. It was rare to see him so kind. Send someone to follow Fujima. Be sure to protect his safety. Don't show up unless necessary. After Senju Fujima left, Uchiha Madara directly ordered his confidants to follow him, and he felt more at ease. Yes, Shodaime-sama, Uchiha Wen shouted hurriedly, and then disappeared from the spot, and followed Senju Fujima directly. Black Zetsu, humph, don't let me catch you. After everyone left, Uchiha Madara was angry and clenched his fists. Because of the mysterious figure Black Zetsu, Konoha could bring disaster at any time, so he had to think of a good countermeasure. But Black Zetsu could not be seen or touched, so it was really difficult to find him, which gave him a headache. Forget it, since you want the Samsara Eye, then you will definitely appear. Hashirama's experiment is about to succeed, and it's time for me to start the experiment. When the Samsara Eye is awakened, I don't know where you can hide. Humph. Uchiha Madara hated everyone who wanted to take his brother's life, and since Black Zetsu wanted his brother to die, he had to kill him, and the root of everything had to be solved. During this period, Hashirama Senju's bloodline was merging faster and faster. I believe that the Samsara Eye will be awakened soon. By then, he will both have the Samsara Eye, and then they will not be afraid of Black Zetsu. But this still requires a long waiting time, and the experiment must be put on the agenda as soon as possible. Langley Grand, Langley Grand. After Senju Fujima received the huge amount of 5 million taels, he was very happy. He whistled and sang as he walked slowly towards the school. He planned to tell his wife about his departure so that she would not worry. It was most important to let her know and give her a sense of security. Because Senju Fujima was called away by the Hokage, Irati did not dare to say much, so he walked slowly and returned to school on time. When he arrived, school was over. Fujima-kun, you are back. Uchiha Jing saw Senju Fujima coming back and hurried to meet him. Look, I really envy Jing for having a good husband. I envy her too. Why not our family and the Senju clan marry? Everyone thinks so. Fujima-kun is handsome, powerful, and the young patriarch of the Senju clan. He will definitely be one of the successors of Hokage in the future. Yes, I also want to marry Fujima-kun. I really envy Uchiha Jing, this white lotus, who pretends to be more pure than anyone else. Didn't you just run up to try it when you saw Fujima-kun? Humph. Quote. Because of the affection between Senju Fujima and Uchiha Jing, all the girls in the class were very jealous and envious, and the expressions on their faces were different. Jing, I have to go out for a while. My father has assigned me a task, and I have to go out for a while. So I came to tell you that I may not be able to accompany you to school for a while. Senju Fujima took Uchiha Jing's little hand and came to the field, turned around and looked at her with a smile. Really, really, where are you going? Will it be dangerous? Uchiha Jing was slightly stunned after hearing what Senju Fujima said, and hurriedly asked with concern. Don't worry, there will be no danger. Who am I, your husband? Can't I run away if I can't beat me? Ha ha. Quote. Senju Fujima smiled at Uchiha Jing and stretched out his hand to pinch her rosy little face. Hate. Uchiha Jing was pinched by Senju Fujima, and she felt a sense of suffocation instantly. Her heart was beating like a deer, and she lowered her head to rub the corner of her clothes. Jing, you are so beautiful. Seeing the shy and lovely Uchiha Jing, Senju Fujima turned his head and looked at her seriously. Bo. Uchiha Jing was praised by Senju Fujima, and she was a little at a loss for words. She didn't know what to say. Just when she wanted to speak, she felt that her lips were sealed. Her eyes widened, her face flushed, and she was stunned there, not knowing what to do. Hee. Quote. I don't know how long it took before Senju Fujima let go of Uchiha Jing. Looking at her little red apple-like face, he couldn't help but laugh. Fujima-kun kissed me again, so shy. Uchiha Jing hadn't reacted yet, and didn't know what she was thinking. Let's go, I'll take you home. Senju Fujima smiled slightly, looking at the shy Uchiha Jing in his arms. Yeah, Uchiha Jing blushed, very shy, lowered her head and whispered softly. Then Senju Fujima took Uchiha Jing back to the Uchiha clan and sent her to the door of her home. Okay, we're home. I'm leaving too. You must be good when I'm not around. Senju Fujima looked at Uchiha Jing and smiled at her. Yeah, Fujima-kun. Uchiha Jing looked at Senju Fujima, hesitant to speak, blushing, wondering what she was thinking. What's wrong? Go in. I'm leaving too. Senju Fujima saw that Uchiha Jing seemed to have something to say, and said lightly. No, nothing. Road, be careful on the road. I'll wait for you at home. Uchiha Jing lowered her head and shook her head, saying softly. Yeah, I'll be back soon. Senju Fujima smiled slightly, stretched out his hand and patted her on the head, then turned and left. Fujima-kun. Uchiha Jing saw Senju Fujima turn and leave, and hurriedly ran up and hugged him tightly. Senju Fujima felt Uchiha Jing hug him, and the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Be good, I'll be back soon. Senju Fujima didn't turn around, but just stretched out his hand and patted Uchiha Jing's delicate little hand and smiled. Uchiha Jing's eyes flashed with strong reluctance, and finally let go, standing there watching Senju Fujima leave. Fujima-kun, you must come back safely. Jinger is waiting for you at home, you must come back. Uchiha Jing looked at Senju Fujima's gradually receding back, and his eyes were instantly covered with tears, and 2 lines of clear tears flowed down. Jinger, is get out of class over? At this time, Uchiha's third elder Uchiha-ji came back and saw Uchiha Jing and asked with a smile. Well, Dad, I'm back. After hearing his father's voice, Uchiha Jing quickly stopped crying, adjusted his mood, turned around and bowed to Uchiha-ji. Haha, go back. Don't worry, Fujima is very powerful, and there are not many people in this world who can keep him. Uchiha-ji smiled slightly and said to Uchiha Jing. As the third elder of the Uchiha clan, he naturally knew that Senju Fujima was going out, and when he came over just now, he also saw him from a distance. Then he saw Uchiha Jing's expression and naturally knew something. I know, Dad. Uchiha Jing regained his old smile and smiled lightly. Yeah, seeing Uchiha Jing recover, he didn't say anything more and walked straight into the house. Master Fujima. The few ninjas guarding the village entrance saw Senju Fujima coming out and hurried forward to shout respectfully. Well, this is the pass, take a look. You need to go out to do the mission. Seeing several guarding ninjas, Senju Fujima smiled slightly and took out a roll of documents. Master Fujima, you are joking. Please, how dare several ninjas check Senju Fujima? They smiled slightly and let him go. Well, thank you for your hard work. Seeing that they did not check, Senju Fujima nodded slightly, and then walked out directly. Hee, finally, I can go around. I am sick from staying in the village every day. There is no hurry to catch the tailed beasts. Let's go out and enjoy it first. I heard that the hot springs in the land of hot springs are good. I can go and enjoy it when the time comes. After leaving Konoha, Senju Fujima couldn't think of where to go, because for him, everything in this era was very strange. After all, the world of Naruto is basically about the world decades later, and there is not much understanding of the present. The only reason he knew to come out was to take a hot spring bath. None of the beauties showed up, and he didn't know what beauties there were. He didn't recognize any of them. The Iron Country is ahead. You can only reach the hot spring country by passing through the Iron Country. I heard that the forging techniques of the Iron Country are very powerful. I wonder how powerful they are. Senju Fujima saw the town not far ahead, raised his mouth slightly, and then rushed forward quickly, leaving the Flying Thunder God technique on the branches or the ground in various places along the way. Konoha Ninja. Just as Senju Fujima was about to enter the Iron Country, a pleasant voice like a silver bell suddenly came, which made him look in the direction of the voice. This girl looks heroic, is she pretty cool? Senju Fujima saw a girl not far away, with a heroic face, and her left hand on her samurai sword. Only the woman was wearing a white samurai costume with pink stripes, a long brown ponytail, 2 pink cherry blossom hairpins, bangs in front, slightly thick eyebrows, light brown eyes, and a samurai sword on her waist, looking heroic. Beauty, do you want to talk to me? Seeing the woman's vicious eyes, Senju Fujima didn't care and smiled slightly. I heard that Konoha ninjas are very strong. I would like to see them. I wonder if this Konoha ninja can teach me. Accept my challenge. The woman slowly walked in front of Senju Fujima, frowning. She was so strong that she would practice hard every time she heard how powerful Konoha was and how many geniuses there were. Now seeing Senju Fujima's Konoha forehead protector, she wanted to come and challenge. Challenge me, beauty. I don't seem to have any deep hatred with you, do I? Why do you look at me with such a strange look? Senju Fujima was a little confused. When this woman looked at him, there was always a hint of resentment. He didn't seem to know her, so why was she looking at him like that? Stop talking nonsense. Do you dare to accept my challenge? Let me see how powerful your Konoha village ninjas are. The woman shouted in a delicate voice, with a face full of impatience. You woman seem strange. Did I provoke you? If it weren't for you being so cute, I would have caught you and spanked you long ago. Tisk. Senju Fujima saw that the woman in front of him was a little puzzled, and curled his lips in disdain. You mean, you can easily defeat me? Then let me see your strength. I don't like seeing men who can only talk with their mouths. The woman raised her eyebrows and said to Senju Fujima with a little anger. Ding, Tikui's anger is detected, the God's Chosen system is activated. Option 1. Reject Tikui's challenge, taunt her, and turn around and leave. Reward for completing the task, a single white eye. Option 2. Reject Tikui's challenge, take away Tikui's first kiss, leave a sentence, I love you, and then use the space-time ninjutsu to leave. Reward for completing the task, randomly draw one ability of the host. Option 3. Accept Tikui's challenge and defeat her. After defeating her, put her on your legs and spank her to teach her a lesson. Reward for completing the task, corpse vein, no blood inheritance disease. Suddenly, the voice of the system suddenly appeared in Senju Fujima's mind. Ah, a single white eye. What the hell, system, are you sure that a single white eye is useful to me? You might as well give it to me instead of leaving it halfway. You are so stingy. You really have a bad taste. I really admire you. Don't you just want me to choose to beat her up? Why do you have to do so many fancy things? After hearing what the system said, Senju Fujima was speechless, but it was not the first time that he was speechless. He just had to get used to it. System, choose option 3. Then Senju Fujima made a principle, and then looked at Tikui in front of him with a smirk, and looked at her buttocks. What are you looking at? Are you going to accept my challenge? Does your Konoha rely on cowards like you to make a fortune? What a waste. Tikui saw Senju Fujima with a smirk on his face, and looked at her from time to time, and instantly felt a burst of shame and anger, and asked hurriedly. Okay, I accept your challenge, but if I win, what good will it do me? I won't do anything without benefits. Senju Fujima looked at Tikui in front of him and said seriously. Benefits? Do you really think you can beat me? Humph, it's just wishful thinking. Tikui looked at Senju Fujima in front of him, frowned, and snorted coldly. Then I'm leaving. If there's no benefit, why should I care about you? It's really tiring. I still have to hurry, so I'll leave first. Senju Fujima looked at Tikui and waved his hand, then turned around and left. What benefits do you want? But you can't beat me. What benefits do you want? Just ask. Tikui was very confident in his swordsmanship, frowned, and saw Senju Fujima was leaving, so he asked hurriedly. If I win, you will be my little follower in the future, how about that? Senju Fujima raised his mouth slightly and said lightly. What, you actually said that you want me to be your foundation? When Tikui heard what Senju Fujima said, he felt furious for some reason, and pointed his slender right hand at him and scolded him. Didn't you say you wouldn't lose to me? Since you are so determined that you will win, why don't you accept this price? Senju Fujima looked at Tikui, curled his lips, and smiled with some disdain. Oh, I see, you clearly know that you can't beat me, so you deliberately said that you can beat me. I understand, then wouldn't it be boring for me to fight with you? Forget it, I still have to hurry, bye. Then Senju Fujima pretended to be enlightened, looked at Tikui and said exaggeratedly, then looked at her and said exaggeratedly, turned around and left. Tikui watched Senju Fujima bully others so much that her chest kept rising and falling, she was panting and her face was slightly red. Stop right there, I agree to your conditions. But I also have a request. Seeing Senju Fujima was about to leave, Tikui chose to compromise and shouted at him. Oh, what request? Do you want me to be gentle? Sure, I have always been very sympathetic to women, and I won't do anything to you. Don't worry, how can I bear to destroy such a beautiful woman? After hearing Tikui's words, Senju Fujima raised the corner of his mouth slightly, then turned around and looked at her and joked. I won't argue with you. If you lose, you write your name on the gate of the Iron Country, and then say that Konoha ninjas are scum and the most evil villains in the world. If you agree, I will agree to your request. How about it? Do you dare? Tikui looked at Senju Fujima in front of him and said coldly, with a flash of resentment in his eyes. Oh, what's the situation with this little girl? Did the Konoha ninjas do something to her? No way, How long has our Konoha been established? Start to offend these little girls. Tikui's words, and then saw her resentful eyes, felt a little strange, and muttered to himself. Okay, I promise you. After thinking for a moment, Senju Fujima looked at Tikui and shouted. Very good, then let's get started. Tikui frowned and looked at Senju Fujima in front of him coldly. Then the two of them stood opposite each other. Senju Fujima looked relaxed, while Tikui looked serious. Please give me your advice. Quote, Tetsukui bowed to Senju Fujima, which was a samurai spirit. Oh, please give me some advice too. Senju Fujima was slightly stunned when he saw that Tetsukui had to bow to him before the battle, and then bowed to her. Why does this feel a bit like a couple bowing to each other? Puff. After bowing, Senju Fujima muttered in his heart that it was quite interesting to look at Tetsukui in front of him. Then Tetsukui squatted slightly, put his right hand on the hilt of the sword, ready to attack at any time. You actually look down on me so much. Then let you see how powerful I am. Quote. Tetsukui saw that Senju Fujima didn't seem to care about her, and a trace of anger flashed through her heart. Then she instantly drew the samurai sword at her waist, but did not draw the sword, and kicked with her right foot. Swish. Instantly, Tikui rushed directly towards Senju Fujima, and her speed was so fast that even a senior ninja would feel difficult if he was not careful. Oh, you are quite powerful, but it has no effect on me. Then I will play with you. Seeing Tikui rushing towards him, Senju Fujima raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and then pulled out a special kunai. Zzz. Instantly, Senju Fujima activated the lightning escape, and the kunai was covered with lightning, and instantly turned into a lightning sword, which was somewhat similar to Tobirama's Thunder God Sword. Secret Sword, Thunder Light Slash. Quote, Tikui saw Senju Fujima draw out his weapon, and instantly drew out his samurai sword, gathering a blue blade light, and flew directly towards him. Oh, is this strength good? He can actually emit a sword energy. Hee. Senju Fujima saw a blue light sword energy flying towards him, and calmly drew out the thunder sword in his hand and waved it casually. Bang! In an instant, the blue light sword energy hit Senju Fujima's thunder sword, making a loud noise and raising a puff of smoke. HMPH, idiot. How can my sword energy be so easy to receive? Tikui saw that she had succeeded in one attack, and did not attack again. She was still very confident in her attack. Because within her attack range, she felt that no one could dodge her attack. And if Senju Fujima went to meet it, there would be only one outcome, that is death. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.